Welcome in, everyone, to episode 109 of the Battlecast podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Peng, and Speediest Chief has he's been dodging his hot chip so long he left the podcast apparently, and we're joined by Anacor, the co-host this week.
Speediest Chief 3.
Speediest Chief 3, yeah, the upgraded form.
Yeah, man. Hey, let me tell you.
We went from Speediest Chief 10% to Speediest Chief 50%, right?
Oh yeah. Maybe even complete form,
Yeah, maybe complete form. We'll talk more about that. But no, all jokes aside, Speedy unfortunately cannot make it this week. There's some stuff going on that we'll probably update you on later at a future podcast. Myself and Speedy can't go into it right now. He's okay though. He's not like he's fine. He's healthy. Like his friends and family are okay. It's nothing like life threatening, but it is. There's some stuff you'll all find out. We'll share with you all sometime, right? We just can't go into it now because it's anyway. But we are recording this literally the Wednesday it's released, so it will. This is pretty in real time. This is not a pre-recorded one. But Anacor, for those that don't know, is a part of Dracovis. Was a part of our Dracovis podcast episode a couple episodes back with Palmer's Up, and I thought hey, he was entertaining. He was fun to chat with, and he volunteered his time. He's all the way in Australia, so it's like 5 p.m. there, and it's like midnight my time. So our times are a little different, but we're making it work, right? And it'll be a good podcast. And a little spoiler, we'll have Anacor and Polly on for a future podcast we pre-record already. So this is my third episode with Anacor, but you're all watching us the second.
Is it 3?
3?
It's
yeah,
3.
I think so, right?
It's 3. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
I know. Time flies when you're quizzing me on Dracovis.
Yeah, man. Good
time, but so no hot chip, obviously, unless Anacor wants to take up the mantle. Should we reveal?
What
the thing, the spoil, the behind the scenes work that you do?
You know what? I don't think we need to in it. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we'll let that one.
All right. Maybe in a future episode we'll talk about some projects Anacor is working on behind the scenes. But for the time being, I think he's not willing to take on the mantle quite yet and eat the hot chip for Speedy.
No way.
No way, bro. But hot chip, there will be a hot chip consumed in some near future. So be on the lookout for that. But anyway, we're gonna almost have like a similar agenda per usual, but Anacor was actually hosting Twitter Spaces on the Dracovis Twitter, and you all been doing great with that too. It's been cool to see the engagement there. Funny enough, I've seen some TPCI employees actually hop in.
Oh, really?
Too. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I'll look at some of the people listening. I won't name names, right? But like they're curious too, right? So they're like, chiming in on the conversation. You can't go anonymous when you listen to these Twitter Spaces, which is kind of cool, right? People can lurk on the podcast listening, but they can't do it on Twitter Spaces if you're paying attention. So it's pretty dope to see that too, which is kudos to you all for making that content. But Anacor was essentially going to do a kind of Draco Talks, essentially, which is their Twitter space, kind of brand, and going to talk about factions and some Silph stuff. And I was like, well, I was going to cover some of that stuff on the podcast anyway, if you want to chat here too. So thank you for giving us some of the content you're going to cover today, porting it over to Battlecast podcast. I will give you 50% of the revenue from this episode, which will be amounting to $0 in USD and
that's more
Canadian
than I was
in all
before,
forms.
That's fine. Yeah.
But
to be honest, we missed an episode last week, and so we've got a bit to catch up on in terms of I don't know how much of the audience have listened to our Twitter Spaces, but we've got some factions and Silph stuff to catch up on. It seemed a good opportunity in it.
Yeah, definitely. For those that don't know, so usually, Dracovis actually does a lot of like graphics and stuff and infographics and reporting on the tournament results from all over the world. But they started doing Twitter Spaces, essentially just like a forum that, Anacor hosts with sometimes someone else on, and they'll talk about results from play Pokemon, but also they started covering Silph Worlds for factions, which is kind of cool because a lot of these top tier players are on factions, right? And it's really the Indian players that I feel really bad for because they only have one qualifier to go to for TPCI Worlds, but a ton of them are killing it in Worlds.
Do you know what the thing is? The worst thing is, okay, I don't know for sure, yeah. I'm just seeing some comments here and there, but like Inadequance for a while has been saying that Harish isn't even going to Worlds, yeah. So the Indian
because he got
champion is not
second,
even
right?
going. No,
Or
no,
he
he's the
got first.
champion.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's a champion.
but apparently he's younger. This is what he said. I haven't actually asked Harish in person, but he's saying because he's like quite young, he needs to go with like family and they can't like organize it or something like that. But then I'm hearing that Scarlet Wiz isn't going as well.
What?
So we might. Okay, I don't know. I haven't verified any of this information yet. But there's a possibility that there will be 0 Indian representation at Worlds.
Oh man, or at least 0 Indian players from India, right? But
yeah. Well, I mean, do we have Indian players? Oh, yeah, I guess.
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I was going to say I don't know the background of like Valiant Vish, but I think he's got like Indian links, so maybe.
Yeah.
But still, it doesn't.
Yeah. But not from actually India, unfortunately. Yeah. But man, yeah, Harish is good too. I battled him when won the recent Silph solo cups, right? And it came to game 3, but he played really well. Yeah, he beat me too. So and he has like I saw his like player card, right? And he has like no catches at all. I'm like, what the heck? This guy's like when I saw it, I was like, he probably level 40 something too. I don't even remember he was 50. I was like, what the heck? Like 20,000 catches, like this guy's killing it, right? I don't know how he's affording all this stuff, but anyway, okay, so before we get into all that, we'll just breeze through some of these comments here too, and feel free to respond to any you see that are fitting.
Yeah, sure.
But Isa Nami says, do you know why Niantic don't ban spoofers, PG sharps, etc. hacks? I reported flies, but they are free. I don't know what PG sharps are, but
I didn't understand the whole second part of the comment, I'll be honest. Yeah.
Maybe PG sharps is like a type of
actually, I feel like that
software?
is a spoofing software.
It
okay, seems like
yeah.
Now it sounds
I don't personally spoof, so I don't know, right? I mean, Anacore might know more than me. don't look at this guy.
I don't spoof, but I feel like I've seen it, like the word,
on Twitter and stuff, right?
Assumptions there,
not on your phone, but this might be the last one you co-host. Next week you'll be like, I'm not playing Go anymore. I gotta start a new account. But
5 minutes in.
So I will say this. I feel like I can't remember if Michael Staranka mentioned it on our episode. I think he did when he was a guest. Yeah, and he said specifically like they do crack down on spoofers, but they're not going to publicly advertise like this week we banned this many spoofers, right? It doesn't mean they're able to catch every one of them, but they do have like ways of catching, because there have been spoofers that have been banned. And a lot of times I always get a little sussed out when I see on Twitter people like, Niantic banned my account, I didn't do nothing, blah blah blah, like and just
classic.
Like it's like a sob story and it's like absolutely nothing, and people were like, like why would he, like I was like, it could be like a false positive, right? It could have been something really that it was flagged incorrectly. But sometimes some of those could really be like people that actually got caught and they're just not sharing the whole story on Twitter, because Niantic's not going to respond back. Actually, you actually did this. They're not going to give them the attention or even publicity for that, and can't even go into that, right? But I will say that there definitely are some measures, and I think the other thing is Niantic's not going to share like how they're catching spoofers, because then that just makes people making the spoofing software maybe easier. Obviously, there are still a lot of spoofers, and we're actually going to get into that for the T topic. So. Because they are still around, and I saw a retweet. It was like a spoofer quote retweeted a tweet from Niantic from like 2017, and it was like it was from Niantic support saying like, "Thank you all for your like requests on banning spoofers and stuff. We're increasing our security measures to ensure that they will be addressed and stuff like that." Something along those lines. And the spoofer quote retweeted like literally like a few weeks ago. It was like, well, it was like, it's only been 6 years since this tweet, right? What's going on? I'm still playing, right?
That's ballsy,
Yeah, it is. But they always are good about cropping out their name, right? Like, unless a Niantic and Elon Musk work out some deal, and expose people on this, new X app.
I feel like that's the last thing we want, We're already trying to fix our game.
Yeah, exactly. Manning said maybe Caleb secretly knows the real Scroll Trapper and he's the one creating the Twitter account. Just saying. Look, it's possible Scroll Trapper reached, but the problem is, right, so this person reached out to me and was like, hey, look, and you got a picture of Speedy shaven, right? Like I got this idea. I was like, yo, like bet this is a great idea. Like I thought it was hilarious. But the problem is like if it was Squirrel Trapper that messaged me, how do I know it's actually Squirrel Trapper, not just someone that made
Yeah.
a Squirrel Trapper Discord, right?
I feel
It
like
could be.
also, you know what? If it was Squirrel Trapper, you've got to weigh up like, do you stay silent, yeah, or do you
Yeah.
out Squirrel Trapper for the content?
Right. Right.
I might out him,
Dude,
personally.
I'm not gonna say if it's Squirrel Trapper or not, but if it is Squirrel Trapper, you know, if I gave the picture to Squirrel Trapper, we're tighter than it seems on internet. You know, don't believe what's
That's true.
happening on the podcast and social media, right? I might be hating on Squirrel Trapper, Squirrel Trapper might be hating on me, but we might actually have a partnership that you don't know
Yeah,
about. You
that's a
know,
literal paid actor, no?
yeah, it's like you've seen X-Men, right?
Nah.
Oh, you haven't seen X-Men? Oh my gosh! Wait, what?
Uh,
You're not
I,
like
I I know of X-Men, innit? Yeah, but like I've not
oh
watched the
my
movie.
gosh. Well, anyway, this one guy Wolverine,
Yeah,
and he has like I think it's
yeah.
like his
I know who
brother in the
Wolverine is.
lore,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, he has
Okay,
like a
okay.
brother like
Uh,
Sabretooth, whoever, right?
right.
At least
Okay,
in the
I don't know.
lore, maybe it's like his half brother or something,
Hmm.
or like a childhood friend. But they both like have similar regenerative abilities, so they like live forever, or whatever, or
Okay.
a really long time, not forever, hundreds of years.
Hmm.
But they essentially like in the animated series, every time they would fight, because one's bad and one's good, right?
Hmm.
Every time they get in a fight, it'd be like all the like the mutants fighting each other, and they would always have their side fight in the corner. Like it'd always be just them, like 1v1, right? Like there's a whole like
It's
20 of
funny.
them on each side, and they're all fighting collectively, and then these two are just having a side fight in the corner, right? Every time, just the two of them, and like they're like neither of them ever kill each other because they always like regenerate, so they're just like fighting each other nonstop. That's
You'd
me, Squirrel
thought they might
Trapper.
have like, you know, like realized it's not working.
Dude, they're
You
just
go help
constantly
someone else.
trying. Yeah, constantly trying. I
Uh,
think like everyone else on like both sides already understand that's their thing, so they just like let them do
uh,
their thing. Right? They're like, we're not going to interfere. Like, just go fight it out. I mean, no one
mm,
really dies in the animated show that much either. Like everyone else
mm,
still survives, but yeah, DH Khan says a couple clarifications, then bonus content. This is great, actually, info for Japan. You're going to Japan as well, right? Have
yeah,
you been to
yeah,
Japan
yeah, yeah.
before?
Yeah, so I was there
Okay.
in January,
Oh, okay.
but I
Recently,
was
yeah.
only in Tokyo, so
Okay.
I don't have too much experience outside of
Yeah.
Tokyo. But yeah,
That's pretty good. So DH Khan, who gave us a lot of great tips last episode in the comments, said, also personally, I don't want a tougher road to legend. It takes a lot of time, and I'm just in it for Libre shiny check. Oh, okay. I forgot what. Yeah,
nice
maybe we
Japan
said we
tips
had a
there.
comment about something about yeah PvP, but yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway, responding to our questions about the actual stuff. So if single device eSIM, SIM card, MoFi, international roaming is fine. Previous experience just makes me have backups like phones, batteries, etc. International roaming though costs a fair amount, $10 a day, I think, on
mm,
Verizon. So MoFi, eSIM, SIM rates are cheaper, especially given the strength of the dollar. So I think like maybe like if you have like multi accounting and stuff. I mean, I personally don't have the time for that, and it's
yeah,
technically against TOS, but I know people do. You might want to get like a mobile Wi-Fi or wherever because
yeah.
you want multiple phones like latch on. Or if you're with friends and family or partners and stuff like that,
Mm.
right? Kids, they can all latch on the same Wi-Fi. You don't have to buy every individual phone like a international plan. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes a lot of
Well,
sense.
I actually so when I went, I actually got mobile Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
but it was mainly because it's just a lot easier to order and set up. I don't know exactly, but I feel like with local SIM cards, you've got to do something like ID related or something like that.
Yeah.
Whereas mobile Wi-Fi, you can order it beforehand and get it delivered to the airport. So as
Hmm.
soon as you step off the plane, you can go and collect it. Which
Oh,
personally, I
gotcha.
feel like that's like, as soon as you get off the plane is where you end up spending the most trying to get back to your hotel because, like, you don't have Wi Fi, you don't have, like, taxis and stuff. So,
Right, right, right.
um,
Okay,
kind of
so this
useful.
next one I'm actually kind of concerned because oh my gosh, wait. Hold up now. Hold up. This is actually kind of concerning. So the next thing says battery size. The TSA limit is 100 watts, and the Anchor 26800 comes with 96 watts. Each time I fly out Japan post COVID, the checkpoint staff want to check at the print on the battery to confirm it's under 100. If you have a small battery, maybe they won't bother. Okay, so I literally just bought a giant battery, and I don't know how many, uh, like they have it in like mAh
Yeah.
milliamp hours. 100 is, oh dude, I bought it over.
What
Okay,
did you
I
get,
need
like
to.
30,000 or something?
I got 40,000.
You got
MAH.
40,000,
Yeah,
bro. You ain't
MAH.
getting on no flight with that.
Yeah, well, I looked at the one of the Japanese airports. It says 160 or something, but I guess not. I don't know. I
Nah,
bought the same one that Wholesome has. I need to return that. I literally no, I kid you not. I literally before we
yeah.
started recording, I bought this like 10, 15 minutes ago. I was just on Amazon.
Damn.
But it's Prime. I could just like return it and get
Yeah,
another one, I guess. But yeah, that's good to
yeah,
know. All right, so there's that. Thank you. That's a man, that's timely.
yeah.
Yeah, they said trades, Google 9DB Pokemon trade generator. I would suggest a sheet and laminating it with your preferred trades. Carry around during
Mm.
live events. Many Japanese travelers do this, and you can get good trades. Ooh, dude, I don't know if I have time for all that, but
Yeah, I mean, I guess you don't
I might just like
have
have a
to, but
picture, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I mean,
definitely
it's nice. It's nice though because they carry like signs around, right?
yeah, the trade
Shoot.
generator image is like actually really nice and aesthetic.
Yeah.
I actually quite like it.
To
Even
be
having
fair,
that on your
I
phone
don't
is
know
quite
what I
good.
need. Yeah.
You know what, I say that every time as well. Like every time
Yeah.
there's like extra trades or anything like that, I
Yeah.
realize you can't go wrong with level 15 legendaries. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
more
Yeah, we haven't
time,
had
yeah.
like Lugia in
Yeah,
a
just like
long
another
time.
Buzzwole or something like that,
Oh,
level
Buzzwole,
15,
yeah, that's
yeah,
true. That's true.
Kartana,
How do I
maybe
emphasize the level
some.
15 part though? They're gonna give
Oh,
me
you know what?
like a
I've
weather
actually
boosting
made
Buzzwole.
I've actually made one of these, and like you can put a little comment underneath the
Uh-huh.
Pokemon, and it's
Yeah.
not like a very long comment, but what I do is I put the max possible CP of a level
Uh-huh.
15, and then I put a
Oh.
little down arrow. So I'm just like anything of this CP and below, I'll take
Oh,
it, and then that
dude.
just covers everyone in it.
Oh, that's smart. That's super
Yeah.
smart. Yeah, you don't even need a translator for that. You just put the number of
Nah.
CP, and they all
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
CP, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah, Buzzwole and maybe Lugia. I feel kind of bad. You know how like
Mm.
Lugia box Lugias are on a premium, right? Because they're
Yeah.
just like we never have them, and we might never have them again. I mean, obviously you
Yeah.
have Shadow Lugia, so you can do that. But getting
Yeah.
a non-Shadow Lugia under 1500 is super hard, right?
Yeah.
I have hoarded way more than my fair share. Like
Yeah.
I have like maybe 7 or 8. Like
Oh man.
yeah,
Wait,
that
as
I've
in
hoarded.
like that you can trade or that you have
No,
taken
that I
from
got from
people?
other people. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I don't think I can even get that many from boxes. I think they're only out for
Yeah.
like a month, right? So each person
Okay.
could have a max of 4. But I got a bunch. I have one that's
Yeah.
shiny as well. Like it's I
Jeez,
have a
okay.
couple. I have
But you
like
know
one
what the
that's
thing is, yeah?
yeah.
I feel like level 15 legendaries are the perfect sort of like crossover between like serious PvP players and
Uh-huh.
like shiny hunters or something like that. Because
Yeah.
they don't care it's level 15.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
True.
It doesn't mean
Yeah.
anything to them. If anything, they might power it up. So
I might not have
actually,
anything to
it's like a
offer
really
them though. That's the problem.
bro, just
You
shiny
never know.
Pikachu or
Yeah.
something. You know what I mean? And it like,
True. Yeah.
uh,
I'll try. Yeah. I mean, I might have a few as Zelf if they need it, but that's.
yeah,
I think everyone has a
yeah.
Zelf at this point. I think I had a bunch of Carnivine. I might transfer a bunch though, but we'll see. I'll see
No,
what I
that'd
can
be
do.
quite
Yeah,
good.
that's smart. Yeah, especially in Osaka Go Fest.
Wait, you're in LA, innit? Yeah. How far is the Halucha
Oh, so
distance, or
yeah,
is it
great
too far?
question.
Oh.
Dude, I messed up. Yeah, you're right. I should have gone to San Diego like a weekend ago or
Wait,
something, right?
yeah, yeah.
So San Diego is like about 3 hour drive from me, and
Oh,
San Diego, California, like Southern
yeah.
California, South California, is like close enough that they spawn because like for context, San Diego to get from San Diego to Mexico
Uh-huh.
can be like you're like literally on the border. It could be like 15
Wow.
minutes, 20 minutes. Yeah, I have a friend that lives in San Diego and her family lives in Mexico, and she
Wow.
like it's 20 minutes. It's 20
That's
minutes to
mad.
drive from her apartment to her house in Mexico, and she has
That
like
is
a fast pass. So
wild.
she goes back and forth. Yeah,
Yeah.
so she'll be like streaming in Mexico, right? Because she has like better stream setup in Mexico, but
Yeah.
she lives in. So she'll go back for a stream and just drive back up to like go sleep in San Diego
Yo,
or
that
something,
is
right?
sick. Imagine
Yeah.
commuting a different country.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah. So she has some fast pass. So anyway, so it's south enough that it hits on the same like was it longitude or latitude, whatever the horizontal
Yeah,
one is, and so that they spawn. So you can get them in San Diego, and I unfortunately never haven't gone down there since my San
bro.
Diego regional in January. Yeah, before they're spawning.
Yeah. That would have made you popular guy
Yeah, you're
in
right,
Japan, you know.
dude. I'd be like
uh,
1500 or below, shiny Lugias
yeah, bro.
only.
Yeah,
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Only.
yeah, yeah. The
Yeah,
problem is I had to like probably stay in San Diego a while till I get enough, right?
yeah,
Because like it doesn't seem like they spawn that much, at least in
yeah.
Mexico. Like Speedy
Oh,
was
do you
there
know
for
what?
like 10
Another
days a
really
week
good
or so.
one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ho-Oh. Bro,
Oh
level
yes.
15 Ho. The
Oh
like
yeah. Ho level
2%
15.
chance
Yeah.
of getting.
Yep.
I've done like
Yeah,
50 of
Latios
those.
used to be good until they started spawning at in the
Yeah,
wild, right?
exactly.
So people got, people have like shiny ones under 1500.
Yeah,
Um, Rayquaza as well.
yeah, 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 yeah.
That's probably terrible, but like, hey, it's a flex, right?
Hey,
You never
yeah, do
know.
you know what I
You
mean?
never
Isn't it?
know. Yeah. That's a great idea though. And then Dracan says extra story at one of the manhole covers, there was a father and daughter who had Go on their phones. I offered to give the daughter a Bouffalon for free from an alt, but due to the connection issue at I pronounced it wrong. UENO.
Oh,
It took
Ueno?
Wayno. Yeah.
Ueno?
Well,
Uh,
you at least been in Japan before, so I'll take you on
yeah.
it.
I've
Never
been to the
mind.
pub, I
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah. And they said it took so long to get the trade done. Eventually, I let her use my MoFi, and she was able to connect. Oh, another good reason, I guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Another good
yeah.
reason,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Also,
potentially.
you know what, with those, because like obviously they're battery powered, but
Yeah,
I had two batteries. So if it runs out during the day, you just bang in another battery and then you're
yeah,
good
yeah,
for
yeah.
like over 24 hours. So
No, nice, nice, nice.
yeah, so I think that dying is like less of a worry as well.
Yeah, for sure. King GBL said, I didn't realize that that area had such bad connection issues. I always played there in 2017. It was fine. I went to the Hackers Community Day there, and it was unplayable. Well, weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully in Osaka it'll be a little better, but you never know. Um, Oh my gosh, John Murray, my hero, right? I haven't tested it out yet. Lossless Cut is the name of the editing software that can quickly splice or clip parts of a video that I recommend to you in the past. Thank you. Oh my gosh, still listening to the podcast, so I appreciate it. It is the fastest way to extract a clip from a video if you have it saved to your computer already. Oh, yeah, save it to your computer. That's the tough part because I had to download like whole like YouTube VOD still, but it's still better than nothing.
Yeah.
Lossless Cut is amazing because it basically skips the re-encoding step, which for other software can take 10 minutes just to extract a 5-second clip. Will's OBS
Wow.
method is a bit more speedy for your 8-hour clip problem because using his method, you can bypass downloading all 8 hours, but give Lossless Cut a shot. I guarantee you will find some use for it if for your video edit often. It's free and will save you time. PS Caleb, don't wait to lose a bet to get a perm. You can rock it, friend. Dude, I will say, right? Speed's not here. Maybe he'll listen to this back, maybe he won't. I don't know, right? But our listeners will know. I will say that look, I'm strategic, right? I'll put it that way. Nothing
Okay.
I do is an accident, right? I'll put it that way, right? And if you ever played Among Us, that game, I was like the king of Among Us in my local communities, right? But I will say this: I typically don't make bets that I intend on losing. But even when I do, I typically swing it towards my favor. And I'll say this because I don't mind getting a perm either. I think he lost the bet because he had to hit legend this past Monday, and I don't think he
Yeah.
has, right? I mean, if he has, he needs to update me, right?
This
Yeah.
might explain his absence on this episode. You
Yeah.
know
Oh,
what I
that's
mean?
true. There's that too. Yeah, there's that too. But
Yeah.
okay, so here's the real kicker, right? I've gotten a perm before in the past,
Wait,
so
spread out.
I already know what it's gonna look
What?
like.
Okay. I need to like.
So look, Speedy agreed to the bet. He agreed to hot chip. He agreed to me getting the perm. So, yeah, I haven't had a perm in years, but the last time I got one, I was back in China in 2014,
Wait,
and
seriously?
yeah, yeah, and I got a perm before, so I generally know what it'll look like. Yeah, yeah.
Bruv, I can't imagine this. I'm not gonna lie.
What, me with a perm?
Yeah, I'm
Well,
looking
so
up like
it
Google
was like
imaging perm in
subtle.
it.
It was subtle, right? Obviously, they're gonna have to trim some of this hair because my hair's
Uh,
like here. I'll just show you all for those that are watching, right? Because it's long, right? Let me show you how long it goes, right, for the video audience,
wow.
dude. Like past my lips, right? Like
Wait, is
really
this
far down.
15
Yeah,
year old Caleb?
yeah,
The emo
dude.
phase. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, let's not talk about that part. So they're going to have to cut some of that. Otherwise, I'm going to have like Marge Simpson hair, right? Like all the way up to the top, right? Like a stack. Like you can even fit the headphones on my head when I'm casting. Um, but yeah, so they have to trim some of it. But when they permed it, it was almost like wavy. It was like a little curly but a little wavy. It was like subtle. So like a lot of
Okay.
people in my, like when I came back from China and I had it, they like they weren't really sure. It was like looked different, but it wasn't so different that they were like, oh, something's different. But like it's not
Yeah.
like maybe you gelled it differently or something like that. My
Is
hairstyle was
this
a
the
little
kind
different
of
back then
pattern
too.
that everyone has in mind, though, of you doing
Uh
if you lose the bet? Do you know what I mean? Because
yeah.
personally,
I would do some curls, right? I
I'm
wouldn't do like
thinking the Marge Simpson,
super
you know,
curls. Oh no, that's a little too
like,
much, right? But I could do tighter
mm,
curls. I can make it more
okay,
obvious, right?
okay,
I wouldn't mind that.
okay.
Yeah, my dad actually has curly hair, but I got my mom's
Yeah.
hair, so it's straight. But I would have been fine with it. But I rebooked my haircut for later this week because Speedy hasn't got back to me if he hit Legend yet. I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
didn't, and I'm not. I need to get a haircut before Japan. I'm clearly so.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, yo, this person C Lab says I'm convinced Caleb just wants to perm his hair. To be honest, hey, look, it's not that I want to,
Fair.
but I really didn't mind it. Yeah, but um. I think this is actually Twastel. Let's Swan Net Search. I think that's. Oh yeah, it is Twastel. It's Twastel's name backwards. That's why. Um, yeah, it's Twastel's name backwards. That's dude. I always seen it on YouTube. I'm like super confused at like what it is. It's Twastel's name backwards. But I also have T-Mobile, and their default international coverage is pretty nice. That being said, I'm still looking into a SIM or pocket Wi-Fi because most standard plan give you 5G of high-speed data, and then after that you end up with much slower data. With how much we're going to be playing Pogo, especially with GoFest, I'm worried about burning through that high-speed data too quickly. It looks like they have a 10-day add-on plan for $35 that gives you another 5 gigs, or 30-day plan for $50 that gives you another 15 gigs. I haven't looked into SIM or pocket Wi-Fi enough to know how they compare. Yeah, that's a good point. I might do the pocket Wi-Fi. I don't know. I kind of want it like I think you get it at the airport in Japan, right?
Yeah.
But I might like man, I kind of want it sooner because like if I land, I'm gonna try to communicate with people. Like I can't do anything until I get it. Oh, they might have
But
Wi-Fi
you
at the
land at
airport,
the
right?
airport.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true. Yeah.
But what
Yeah, that's
was
a
you
good point.
thinking?
Huh?
You
I don't
land?
know.
Where
I
were
don't
you
know.
thinking you
I don't know. I don't know. I've been doing
land?
to be fair, all the times I've been traveling internationally
Uh,
lately, I've been doing the international plan or it's already covered.
yeah.
Um,
True.
yeah. So, um, Ethan W says, I think it's time for Speed to eat the chip. Also, I think saying Speedy has to hit legend before the time you did, Caleb, isn't exactly fair because he only gets a limited number of sets, even if he waits until 11:59 p.m. to complete all his battles. I don't know. I
Mm,
think like
the thing is there's all the sets before you hit legend where you
yeah,
kind of
and
pave the
technically,
way. Do you know what I
and
mean?
well, no. If anything, it's better for him because he's 2 hours ahead of me. So if I hit at 4 p.m. my time, right? I hypothetically, I think it was like 2 p.m. my time, but hypothetically it's 4 p.m. my time. He has until 6 p.m. his time 2 weeks later to hit it, which means he has more time in the day to do his sets than I did, right?
Yeah.
Like
True.
he had more time, 2 more extra hours starting from midnight, right? I mean, look, 2 weeks is plenty generous, right? Look, if he needs a couple extra hours, I don't know. He hasn't said anything. I'm pretty sure he didn't hit it. I'm pretty sure he didn't.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, we can only do so much for Speedy, right?
Yeah, man.
Salo says I wasn't able to DM you the footage. Oh, I think maybe they meant the Caleb Critique Corner. Yeah. Twitter, also known as X these days, more recently,
Yeah.
they changed their DM settings overnight where it only allowed verified users, like blue checkmark users, to DM people randomly. It's like set it as the default setting. Yeah, you also should maybe check on Dracoviz in your personal
Yeah, that's
Twitter.
kind of mad.
But yeah, so because people were DMing me literally like a day before, and all of a sudden people
Yeah.
were like, "Hey, I can't DM you my footage." So I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "People literally DM me yesterday," and I checked my privacy settings, and I found out my DM settings, and I found out that they auto set it for everyone to be only verified users. It's
Ooh,
kind of sketch,
yeah,
but
that's
yeah. Anyway,
kind of
so it's
long.
open back up, Sal. So if you want to send me some footage, feel free to please send it for like the upcoming meta, like Ultra League or whatever, because the Fossil Cup's almost over too. But Great League or any future meta. But yeah, my DMs are open for now. Quackdow says, quoting Speedy, who has too much time in hands, and he's like, "Please don't be me, please don't be me." And then Speedy said, "So Quackdow," when we're guessing who was the person that made the Speedy eat the hot chip
Oh
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. And then Quackdow said, "God damn, made the meme pick." It is indeed. I can't confirm it's not Crocodile, but it should be an honor, to be one of the guesses, right?
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Invader Waffle says Speedy with his excuse every time, eat the freaking chip. Dude, that's what I'm saying. He's trying to like buy sympathy from people. Like he's trying to appeal to people. I'm like, I don't think you have the majority of people on your side, you know. I think
You just need
like
to rip the band-aid off,
yeah.
like just
He's got a few people
do the
like Math
thing,
Magic
man.
on side that doesn't want to see the bets, but I'm pretty sure most people want to see the bets,
Yeah.
right?
Hey, you know what? Yeah, I saw those comments. Yeah, bruv. If there was, that is the dictionary definition of paid actor. Yeah, there's
Yes.
no
Yeah.
way.
Yes.
Speedy definitely went into his DMs. He was like, "Yo, I
Yeah.
need backup."
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
That's
it's
the one to support
yeah. Math Magic's the guy that's top lefting for him to help him hit legend before I do, right? Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like, you're at 29.99. I'm still trying hard. You got to earn it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that happened a couple times this past week. So who's Josh says we all know who's talking about which content creator is the biggest advocate of the algorithm. Oh yeah, this that's true, PokeK. But on a side note, obviously the hardest part I would say of GBL blind format is to know when to change your team comp depending on the meta around you. It's so hard to know when you change. You go 5-0, then 2-3, then 1-4, then 4-1. No gains there in Elo, but the meta has changed in the 1-4. But if you knew that you kept seeing double grass and bring a fire type, then get dealt a water Pokemon. I get it that you would feel hard done by. I would have. But how do you adjust the team as you're trying to get Elo? I seem to stumble at ace and hit better sometimes, depending if I excel in the rotation, cup, then dip. I have a large amount of resource in Great League and Ultra League with many XLs, but I would love to even get expert. Highest is 2645, which is pretty close to expert, I would say. And then plummet down to below 2200s and just can't back up there. Well, first and foremost, Josh, I would say feel free to send some footage, especially if you have a lot of resources in Ultra League. I play a lot of Ultra League, not only in GBL, but in Show 6. So I know a few things or two about Ultra League. So, hey, if you want in the next week, send me some footage and I could be happy to review it, do some critiques. I've been doing a bunch in the past week or so, and hopefully it's been helpful for people. But there's that. And then what I say is, unless they release, well, they don't do this much anymore, right? But I remember back in the day, early seasons of GBL, they would drop an update mid-season. You remember that? It'd be like the
Yeah, I
moveset
remember
would
that
be
for a couple.
the
Yeah,
season wouldn't actually have updates. It's mid-season. All of a sudden, be
yep,
like, oh, we got Powder Snow, like Weather Ball, Low Ninetales. We're like, wait, what?
yeah.
Right? And that became meta. So, but I think right now it's mostly GBL season, unless they release something like a card bank, right? Something that literally
But
gets
like,
added to
was that
meta,
also
right?
before they? And correct me if I'm wrong in it, yeah. But are like the seasons now shorter, or is it
They're
longer than
longer
it was
now.
before? They're
They
longer.
used to I think
Okay.
they used to be shorter. Yeah, they definitely were shorter because this is the
Okay.
longest they've ever been, right? Which is 3
Yeah.
full months. Before you would get a season like every month and a half or something, or like I mean,
Yeah.
I think it was before we had Legend too, so it was
Right.
like just rank
Yeah.
10, so it's
Rank 10.
easier
Yeah.
to get. Or I some people say it's harder because it's like you have shorter time to do it. A lot of people argue that it is harder. I personally argue that it's easier for a different reason. If you played a lot of PvP, especially like Silph back in the day,
Yeah.
it was
You're probably
easier for
more
people
familiar.
like me because a lot less people knew how to play PvP. So
True.
season 1 GBL was super easy for me. I hit legend in 10 days, right? And
Wow.
some people, or not legend, rank 10, right? The highest
Yeah.
rank,
Yeah.
right? Other people got my Pikachu Libre on in 10 days. Other people were struggling for like the whole season. Some people didn't even hit it. That was also partially because I had the Skarmory double grass, so that helped. 26 wins in a row will help you quite a bit, right?
It's a
When you only have to
gatekeeper.
get to rank 10, yeah. But it was just easier for people like me and like people like House Stark stuff, like because we played a lot of Silph, right?
Yeah.
But nowadays, like, dude, I can't keep up with some of these people with GBL. Like, I'm not
Right.
hitting legend, and like, I'm not even one of the first 100 people to hit legend, right? Like, that's a hard task, right?
Yeah.
So it's harder in my mind now because a lot of people are better, right? Like, if you start PvP today, like, it is a tough task to hit legend because everyone's already like
Yeah.
played the game so much, right? Um, but that being said, Josh, yes, feel free to send some footage. And then the other thing is, what I was saying is, unless they change the meta mid-season or like mid-rotation, and as long as you have a decently balanced and solid team, it doesn't be balanced. As long as like has play, right? Some
Yeah.
teams are unbalanced; they still work. I personally never change my team. I don't know what you do, Anacor, but I personally don't change my team for the entire week, right? Assuming that you can
Yeah.
still do well. Because one, if there's any day-to-day meta shifts, you can't account for that, right? Like chasing a meta
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
really end up put you in a bad space if you're constantly one step behind the meta you're chasing. If you're
Hmm.
one step ahead, that's great, but like that's sometimes hard to predict.
Yeah.
But also, if you just play the same team, like you just find ways to play out every matchup, right? Like you find ways to play out every lead, like Jelson into a Registeel, and you have like 2 water Pokemon on the back. Like it's a terrible matchup, but like if you play enough, you might find ways to beat that team comp if you see a lot, or specifically that lead or counter swap, right? It just like helps you like refine your craft a little bit. So that's my
Yeah,
personal
no,
recommendation. Yeah.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think also particularly like unless you're, probably at like leaderboard range where, you can probably identify meta shifts a bit better,
Mm-hmm.
then it's very likely that, you just had a couple games of like, bad luck
Yeah.
in terms of the team comps you're facing. And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely way more valuable to learn your team inside out
Yeah.
and, actually be able to like, I don't know, be familiar enough, like even things like damage calculation, do you know what I mean? And like
Mm-hmm.
if you keep on switching teams, you know, there's yeah, you might not know like when you can live certain moves and
Right.
I don't know,
Exactly.
like sometimes it can be that sort of difference, like really, really small
Mm-hmm.
margins.
No, definitely for sure. Yeah, it just I think just learning your team inside and out helps a lot. Especially if you see people like on Twitter be like, "Yo, I hit legend with this team. I've been climbing like Denki Chan is a great example, right? I've been climbing with
Yeah,
Shadow Lone
yeah,
Sandslash
yeah.
before I even got Drill Run, right? And like just like kept playing that team and learned how to play the
Mm,
team to perfection, right? And I think that's like a great example.
yeah.
Um yeah, and then I think it says T Vince. Yeah, I just want to make sure I got the name right. Says it doesn't make in reply to Josh's comment. It doesn't make sense that you go 5-0 or something. Then all of a sudden your team is hard counter, switch team and hard counter. Maybe people 2300 are just that much better than people at 2200. I don't know. I mean, it's possible, right? You just get like it's a lot of times it could be a coincidence where like your whole team's weak to electric, and all of a sudden you run to 3 electrics in a row, right? Like that's where people are like, oh, it's the algorithm, but it's really not, just like bad odds, right? Um, but there is something to be said about like if you climb a bunch and then all of a sudden you start losing, like you are climbing a lot elo, so the players you face
Yeah,
are going to be better, right? So it should get harder. It's hard to maintain that win rate. In fact, you might lose some elo in the process and kind of even out on the day because
yeah.
there's that ebb and flow, but because you're constantly facing people that are close to your skill level or maybe even a little better than you, right, at that point in time that you might be just queuing into at a certain point. So,
Also, it's kind of
that's
mad.
why.
Like I feel like the whole like algorithm discussion, people just like really forgetting that there's like someone else on the other side of the battle as well. Do you know
Yes.
what I mean? So it's like
Yes.
if you keep, if they keep on pairing you into like bad matchups,
Uh huh.
then what's happening to everyone else? Do you know what I mean? And
Right. Right.
like
Yeah.
if everyone's getting a bad matchup, that means everyone should be losing.
All right. Well, so look,
Yeah.
I've read enough of these comments on my YouTube and on Twitter to have the perfect
Uh,
response of what these people would say to you, right? I'm not saying I believe this, but this is
okay.
what's been
Yeah. Yeah.
told to
Go
me,
on.
right? Well, to the that's how Niantic gets you, right? Because while you're getting the 05, these people are getting the 5-0, and then their next set, they're getting the 05, and that's how Niantic keeps you at the same elo and tricks you and has the
See.
algorithm
See.
to get against you. Unless you're a content creator, then you keep getting 5-0s instead of the 05s,
Uh,
right? That's
Bro,
that's that would
I
be the
wish they put the
response,
same
right?
like amount of effort into the algorithm to
Yeah,
like fixing bugs and stuff, bro.
dude.
Like
I mean, yeah.
one
I'm
turn
not. I'm
desync is
not.
rampant at the moment, and it's like really jarring. But,
I've heard. Yeah,
yeah.
that's true. Yeah, yeah. That's hopefully something we don't see too much at Worlds, especially like the missed fast move, right?
Yeah, bro. The
The
thing is though, yeah,
denial.
is that like I watched NAIC, and I think it was Stark against Rise, and one of the
Mm-hmm.
matches, and I went over it a couple times, and I was like, I don't think I'm miscounting, but one of the matches, one turn desync meant he lost one powder snow, and
Mm-hmm.
that powder snow would have KO'd the Charizard,
Ah, gotcha. Yeah,
which would have like flipped the match slightly. So
yeah.
uh, shame.
That's a tough one. I mean, Stark
Mm.
already had a tough time. I think the two
Yeah,
games
yeah,
he
yeah. I
won
mean,
against
yeah.
Rise and Wadaj were honestly more misplays from Wadaj and
Mm.
Rise. Like Wadaj tried to snarl down a Lickitung or something, and then
Yeah.
like I think Rise like spent shields early, and so he was at shield disadvantage with Charizard, which is
Mm.
usually not a good spot. Um, but yeah, that was such a tough comp for Stark. I mean, he had to play perfectly to even get those 2 wins,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
True, true. Yeah,
yeah, but anyway, yeah, hopefully we don't get too much of that, especially with the instant replay feature, right? Where we're like, oh, here
yeah.
comes wait, the power didn't come. Okay. Interesting. So that
Yeah.
matchup was close, but it could have been even
Yeah.
way different if yeah. Yeah. Eight the Great says, funny enough, I really enjoy Pidgey Pandemonium. Pidgey was like a common spawn when nobody did PP, and it was a niche Silphmon at best. A Hundo Pidgey ran from me, but I was able to get some PP Pidgeots and a 98 for Great League and Ultra League. Then again, I've not been playing consistently the whole time and have taken long breaks at least twice. Yeah, I mean, I think Pidgey Pandemonium, especially for those that don't have the Hundo Pidgeots for Ultra League or need XLs, because Pidgeys don't really spawn anymore. It's super nice, right? I used to save Pidgey for my teammate Cochino mom because she didn't have a Hundo, right? And so I was like, whenever I see you next, I got all these Pidgey for you. But then she finally got one, so I just transferred them. But yeah, that's a good point too. It's good for the Mega too, right? I think I have 3 or 4 Hundos, but you know me, I just
because I feel like there's an argument for, again, if you're playing like, you know, Silph or something, or like factions or something like that, you know, having one with Gust, having one with Wing Attack. So you really like need
to. I do, yeah.
I mean, if Air Slash gets a buff in the future,
Air Slash, yeah. Isn't Aerial Ace also a legacy move or no?
I don't know.
I don't know. If
but it's got Sky Attack, right? So
wait, does that have Sky Attack? No, it's Brave Bird, right?
Oh no, it doesn't have Sky Attack.
Yeah. It's Brave Bird and Feather Dance.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah, you might need.
Yeah, but I mean, Aerial Ace is pretty bad. But maybe if they change that, that could be. Yeah. I actually have 2 made for Ultra League. I have 2 level 50 best buddy Pidgeot, one with Gust and one with Wing Attack, just in case, right? Because you don't want to spend League TMs if you don't have to. Slowking. What?
Air car.
But
you know what? Yeah, like a useless move like that is the prime target.
It doesn't have Aerial Ace
buff. No, Air Cutter is the.
What the heck even learns Air Cutter?
Oh, it does have Aerial Ace, but it's not. It's not a legacy.
Okay, Air Cutter's the legacy one.
Yeah,
dude. Hopefully they don't buff the Air Cutter, man. We're gonna have to make like how many Pidgeots do you have to make? 4 at that point. 4 different ones. 2 with Gust, 1 with Air Cutter, 1 without, 2 with Wing Attack. Oh my gosh, dude. They need more Pidgey Pandemonium at that point. Slowking says, big thanks to Caleb and Tony the Tiger for another entertaining and informative podcast. And our Seda face says they're great. Like the Tony the Tiger thing, dude. Speedy said the Tony Tiger wasn't gonna stick, but people might be. Dude, he can't complain about people memeing on him and stuff because he did this himself. He ate the hot chip the day after he lost a bet. No problem.
Wouldn't have been an issue, you know.
Exactly.
How many?
This was a legend bet from last season, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how deep in debt is he?
Dude, I don't even know at this point. Yeah, he's a lot.
Do you reckon you could sell your debt to someone?
Like maybe he could get someone else to eat the chip for him and stuff, or like.
No. You sell it to someone who's more ruthless, isn't it? You know, you're not even charging interest on the chip.
Oh, true. I'm not. You know
what I mean?
He should be eating like 5 chips at this point.
Bro,
I don't want to kill the guy, but it's spicy. Craig says, "Is this the problem of why I lose so much in GBL? I only did Silph tournaments in person, haven't attended a play Pokemon tournament in person. In order to get on Niantic's good side of the algorithm, I need to go to a play Pokemon tournament. Then my win percentage will improve. Sweet. I think they're just being sarcastic in this one, but go. You should go to play Pokemon.
Yeah, it's also proven if you release a YouTube video, that's your rate as well.
Yeah, YouTube video. Yeah, start making some content. Conky said, I personally do some volunteer coaching in the BTW Discord, and one day I was streaming my own battles for fun, the Great League Remix Cup, and had a few people who are trying to get better watching. I end up losing a match because of misplays. As soon as it was over, I was thinking out loud about all the things I could have done to win that match. And the response was they were surprised that I recognized that. There's a deep layer of complexity behind this simple game that a good amount of people haven't quite grasped or even know about. You can definitely climb by running meta teams and knowing move counts with proper timing. But once you go higher, everyone knows that and more. You can't just react to what you see, but you have to think about your opponent's moves as well as your own. What you need to do to win as well as what they need to do. A lot of lower elo players just see what's on their screen and only react and tune out the rest. They switch out of lead. Now I only see this mon and not thinking about switch timers, what could be in the back, how much energy they had. Do I shield this mon or save it for later, etc.? Yeah, that's a great comment. And it's something I noticed ever since launching my critique corner series. I just released episode 10, so I've seen 10 different
Wow.
people battle. Right? Yeah, I've never been a good daily uploader, but I will say this
I
has
was
been
gonna say,
amazing.
yeah,
This
earlier.
has
It's
been
like,
amazing content, right? Because it's much easier to edit, right? I know I'm
yeah,
still behind some
the format you're doing is
qualifier
pretty
stuff. Yeah,
impressive, to be honest. Yeah,
yeah,
because like
yeah. It's
it's boom, you know.
yo, shout out. I forgot his name. Shout out or their name, but I shout out
Mm.
to the guy that talked about the algorithm on my YouTube comments because it was just because I screenshot this and post on Twitter that I even have this opportunity. So hey, man, it's I'm loving it, right? But it's helping a lot of people. And maybe not. Funny enough, anyone that believes the algorithm has not submitted me footage yet.
Well,
The irony, but
yeah.
but yeah, no, everything Kongi's saying is so true. One of my patrons that coach, he's he plays and stuff, and he doesn't play Pokemon tournaments. He plays a lot of GBL. He watched a lot of these tournaments, right?
Mhm.
And actually, shout out to Justin. He's sometimes comments on the podcast as well. He was saying that like it's so interesting because it seems like such a simple game, right? PvP, but there's so many like intricacies in it, right? Like that, like it's a lot more nuanced than people think, right? It's like
Yeah,
seems simple on the surface level, but like if you're like not that great of a trainer and you run the same mirror team as like Rise Vacation or something, like he's gonna win like maybe 90+% of those games, right?
yeah,
Against you, right? Running the same exact team, maybe even the same exact IVs, right? Like everything's exactly the same. Like and it could be a huge difference, right? And as opposed to if you play someone else, right? That just goes to
mm,
show how it goes, right? Even if you don't like, even if you're not like losing lead every time or something. Like I
yeah.
think I remember at NAIC I saw I'm not going to name names because I don't want to call them out, but I saw two players battle and they had such similar teams. Actually, I think they had like mirror lines, if I'm not mistaken, like the
Okay,
same three Pokemon or like very similar, right? Two of the same Pokemon or something. And I just went in there and I was like, this person's gonna win, right? Because I already knew that they were a significantly better battler. They're both good,
mhm,
but one was significantly better, and I already knew that they're gonna play out these neutral matchups differently, right? They're
right.
going to make better like mid game to late game shielding decisions and everything, and it was a 2-0, right? So,
Well,
um, but yeah, it was like it's just like this the skill gap is very like it's a lot bigger than people think it is. I
yeah,
think the better you are at the game, the bigger you realize the skill gap is, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I
like
guess
most things in
like,
life, right?
yeah, exactly. If you're not already there, then it's hard to like see it
Mhm.
because you're not.
Yeah.
That's the reason you're not there.
Yeah.
Because you don't
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah. Have you
Um,
All right, I'm gonna ask I'm taking a gamble here. I know you haven't seen X-Men.
huh.
Have you seen My Hero Academia?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, you
yeah,
have?
yeah,
Okay. All
yeah,
right. I was
yeah,
scared. I was like, maybe like
yeah.
Anacor's not a TV watcher or something.
I'm
My
not
Hero
a
Academia
TV
is kind of
watcher that
similar
much,
to
but
X-Men
like,
actually, but
yeah. Oh, you know what? It's funny because when you were talking about the little Wolverine Sabretooth,
yeah.
I was actually thinking, have you watched Fairy Tale, the
Fairy Tale? No. One of my
anime?
friends told me that
Yeah.
it's really good
Okay.
though. It's
There's
an anime,
like,
right?
yeah, the main
Yeah.
character Natsu, and like, I can't remember what the main villain's name is, but I feel like every battle they were just off doing their own thing in it, and
Yeah.
like
Like
everyone
your
else is
nemesis,
like,
right?
yeah, yeah, and they were
Yeah.
just doing their own. I think
Dude.
actually, no, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
There's a spoiler what I was about to say.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
But
I'll check it out sometime. One of my friends
yeah,
loves it. So I've been meaning to get around to it.
yeah,
But in My Hero Academia, they have like rankings for the different superheroes, right? Like
yeah, yeah,
like global ranking. Like he's the number one hero in the country or something like that, right? And they like bump up and down based on like crime they solve and whatever, and like villains they beat, whatever. And this one guy is trying to be the number one, right?
mm,
I won't say the names because it could be spoiled, but this one guy's trying to, he's number two. He's been number two for like the longest time, right? To the one guy that's number one. And he had like this monologue in his head at one point where he said he was like the closer I got to that number one
mm,
spot and the better I got at be like stronger I got, the more I realized how far the gap was between me and this number one guy. Like the
yeah,
more he realized that he's never going to catch up because
mm,
like the stronger he got, he just realized how much more impressive this guy is. And I think
yeah,
that's really goes to show um like like how go and a lot of things are really like
mm,
even in sports too, right? Like if you're really good at basketball, you'll be able to spot more things, like really intricate things that
yeah,
people do that a newer player wouldn't see, right? And the same thing goes for Go, right? I think that's I think recognizing, and that's something that, like, especially as a commentator, I try to really be cognizant of, right? You have to know the game inside out. I'm not saying I know every single mechanic to the T, but you want to recognize at least like the little place. And that's something I try to highlight in commentary sometimes, because some newer players might not recognize. I'll be like, look, like
Exactly.
what this person did is actually really impressive, and here's why, right? Like, I don't think you realize how hard this was, right? Or like what they were going for, right? Like, sometimes you try to explain the rationale. Sometimes people make plays that, like, I might oversell it. I'm like, oh, they're trying to do all this, and like in the back of their minds, they're like, oh, I just went for a catch. I just did all this because I'm like, oh, they optimize that timing on the
Just kind
catch,
of
right?
guessed.
So yeah, sometimes I might oversell it, but I can't really read their minds. But for the good players, you could definitely know that they're doing certain things with intentionality for a reason.
Yeah,
Right?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But great comment, Conky. Yeah. Ryan Colgrove says, Tony the Tiger finally cashing in on bets. We will see. Hot chip, more like no chip. Lots to get done before Japan. Looking forward to videos and posts from the trip. It's going to be a special one. Excited for y'all. Almost excited about the 5K speed he's going to run after losing the losing legend. Dude, we can't even get him to eat like a Dorito hot chip, right? Like, I know it's not from
Bruv, I
Doritos,
wouldn't
but
wish a
like,
5K on my worst enemy. I'm not gonna lie.
dude, yeah.
Like,
Look,
it's a bit
honestly,
wild.
I'd be down to do it, Ryan, but the problem is, like, one, I might not lose the bet, and two, it's going to be a bigger pain for me to try to get Speedy to do it, And then dude, imagine every Twitter that comes up every time he doesn't, be like, did Speedy run the 5K today? Nope. Right?
No.
Like, dude, whoever's running these Twitter, unless like they have all the people making it, dude, they're gonna be managing like 20 different Twitter accounts, and every week they had to type no on every one of them. And I'm retweeting all of
You know
them.
what?
Let's
After a
go.
while, they'll probably start scheduling them. Just like, you know what? he ain't running it.
That's true.
Spend
He's
one
not gonna do it.
evening,
Let's
like
just
two
schedule the
months.
tweet out. Yeah, yeah. I'll delete it if it happens. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. Just schedule for like a minute after the podcast airs, and then it just scroll through and be like, no, he didn't do it. Yeah. Ace to Face, I think I said your name wrong earlier. I said Seda Face, but Ace to Face, I think, is the name. Was laughing out loud at some point. I think I must have been like upset about something about the algorithm last episode. He said, or they said, I'm glad Speediest brought up how long this whole team comp algorithm mumbo jumbo has been actually going on, and Caleb just lost his head. I used to believe that there was an algorithm that forced you to lose after winning a lot in the beginning as well. But like all things, you just learn to accept that not everyone is above average, and it truly takes skill to advance. Anyone that thinks otherwise is in a state of delusions and denial. It's okay if you're not that good, as the very few who have hit legend or even vet and expert multiple times each season. I really hope to see more discussions on this more often from everyone. Own your losses and stop blaming everything but yourself when you don't win in game or IRL. Cheers. Dude, I love that mentality, right? And hopefully people can hold me accountable to that too, right? And that's something I tried to do. Like, if I'm wrong or if I made a misplay, like, I'm gonna own it, right? I'm like, look, I got destroyed by Elite at Fresno, right? There's ain't no talking my way out of it, right? It was a bad team comp, but he made great reads and he played amazing, right? He didn't really make any misplays, right, in that entire grand finals. Like, I got outplayed, I got out comped, I got out, like prep, like whatever, right? Like, there's no excuse, right? I can be like, oh, I got unlucky on every lead, right? True, but he made the read. I mean, show 6. Like, I picked my own bad
You had
leads,
three
right?
opportunities. Yeah,
Yeah,
six
like,
opportunities, I
this is
guess.
not blind threes. Yeah, yeah, 6 opportunities. And
Oh, should we say 9? Yeah.
yeah, I even won like 2 of the leads too, and I still lost,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
2, at least 2, maybe more. Yeah,
yeah.
but anyway, that's the thing, right? Like, if you also, if you own it, no one else can hold it over you, right? I mean, people are still gonna meme on me. I don't mind. Right? It's like, it's free publicity for me too. Right? People can keep talking about how Elite swept me. I'm like, yeah, keep talking about me. I don't mind. But I'm not gonna fight back when you hurt about it, right? I will say, I don't want to stir the pot too much here, but did you see Dialab Churn's tweet a few weeks ago about I think it was around Silph Worlds for the factions, where he said, EU region, also known as easily upset region, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
like a copy
yeah.
pasta, right?
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah.
the most ironic and funny part was all these Europeans responded and were like upset with him, like, dude, that's so disrespectful. Like, you can't say this about whole regions. I'm like, dude, you're just proving his point right that you're easily upset. Like, he was just doing a copy pasta. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
Dial-Up cares. He's
You
just
know, I
memeing,
think of
right?
all the people to like take it seriously, it's not Dial-Up. Like, is flipping, what's it, the car wash tweet,
Yeah,
the
yeah, the
broken
wash, yeah,
phone
that he's
tweet.
washed, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Dude,
This guy's
it
just a
was
joke,
just
bro.
so
Mhm.
ironic that the responses to that tweet were just proving his point right.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's funny as
but
well because I'm not gonna lie, like as much as I love to back EU, yeah, there was a few of the same names
yeah.
underneath that tweet that tend to go a bit militant whenever that's the
Yeah.
conversation is around.
I got a question for you, right? I know you're in Australia, but
Uh,
you're from Europe, right?
yeah,
Or is that where you mostly identify from, like from
yeah,
a
yeah. No, no,
national?
I'm like I only moved here like 6 months ago, so
Yeah, 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 yeah. So
yeah, yeah.
you're
So
more like like I'm a
yeah,
European at heart, right?
yeah, yeah,
Um, do you personally like in these situations, are you like a big like EU or die kind of fan? Like in not maybe sports, maybe in Pokemon Go stuff like that. Like
yeah.
at Worlds, are you rooting for the EU people, or are you, or is it like is there not as much like regional pride or national pride, even
Yeah.
maybe rooting for someone from your country or whatever,
Do
right?
you know
What's
what?
your take on that?
For me, it's a bit half and half, and it's actually funny you say this because, like,
Hmm.
obviously we're getting into factions a bit later, yeah,
Yeah,
and I'm a bit split on my support because
really.
like I'm like friendly with a lot of people on the Cool Cats team, yeah, but then
Hmm.
at the same time I'm like, but it's EU. Like this
Yeah,
is this is they're representing us,
yeah.
Um, honestly, I think particularly, having like gone to events and stuff like that, there's the I don't know the community in the EU just feels like so strong where you kind of do identify with that. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's like, and then I think also there's a lot of like the stereotypical like North American things where it's like, oh, America only knows just America and that's it,
Oh yeah, it's
and
pretty
and
accurate.
so
It's
I
not
think
really even it's not even like
yeah,
a
yeah.
stereotype. It's pretty accurate
Well,
to
I
reality.
wanted to give you the benefit of the doubt, but okay. But like, yeah, so you got that, yeah, and it's like it makes it, it makes it like I don't know harder to be neutral as well. But do you know what I mean? Innit? It's like
Oh, you
it's
wanna
like
root
yeah,
against
America
us, right?
don't go.
Because we're, like,
Yeah,
ignorant
yeah,
Americans, right?
yeah, yeah.
I don't
Kind
blame
of,
you. I'm
like
yeah, I don't take it
yeah,
personally, yeah.
But I
Yeah.
don't know. I think there's very much thinking about worlds. I'm gonna be rooting for my favorite players, but then
Uh-huh.
I think in the more neutral matchups, I would probably be leaning towards the EU player as opposed to,
Gotcha.
someone
So do you
I'm not
so
really
last
like.
year when Dancing Rob won, were you was that like, "Hey,
Well,
that's my"
actually, do you know what the thing is? Yeah, is that like I was torn there, and it was mainly because like I didn't know Godon Hada, so I was
Uh-huh.
like, it would be amazing if he does well. But I was
Yeah.
still very happy that Dancing Rob won in it. So
Right, right. Because we all
like
kn
there
at
was a
least for
couple
us, we
different.
all know Dancing Rob, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. If it was someone like Dancing Rob and like an NA player, then I probably just would have been happy that Dancing Rob won.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, and I'll be honest, but
Okay, all right. So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's some regional
There's
pride,
definitely
right?
some
Yeah.
bias. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
There's
okay,
definitely some
but
bias.
okay. So, yeah, for me, I feel like I don't have any. And I
Yeah,
identify as I have American passport. I technically
yeah,
wasn't born in America, but I immigrated here when I was 2, right?
yeah.
And I've been in the US my entire life, but I've never been a big maybe like in the Olympics, maybe, I don't know. But like
I
for
mean, what
like
what international sports are there really that America takes part in? Because a lot of them are like, I mean, obviously they do take part in international
yeah,
sports, but it's like, like basketball is all American teams. Like,
yeah,
you got American football. They don't really do like
they don't really do that anywhere
football,
else.
soccer, football. Do you know what I mean? Innit? Like
Exactly,
they're not
exactly.
really doing international
Yeah.
sports.
Well, for
So I
so
guess
for
there's
at
not.
least Go at least, right? My perspective on
Yeah, yeah,
Go,
yeah, yeah.
I I either root for like people that I'm like close friends with, right?
Hmm.
That I want to see succeed because we're friends. I might have helped them
Yeah,
prep,
makes sense.
whatever. My teammates, of course, right? Definitely biased towards my teammates,
Yeah.
but uh, or I go for like underdogs or unknown players. Like last year, like Golden Hana
Yeah,
and
I
Crescent
respect
Angels
that.
really impressed me because
Yeah.
no one really knew them before, right? And
Mm.
Crescent Angels was making like crazy plays. I like it was just like it was like how can you not be a fan of that, right? And
Yeah,
like
true,
you
true.
know, and like just incredible plays. I'm like, yeah, I don't have any affiliation in Japan, but like, hey, that's pretty cool, right? Or even South Korea, right? For Golden Hana, right? Like I didn't have
Yeah.
any affiliation, but like it was great to see. Um, but I'll give you an example. We'll transition actually to this soon for
Mm.
the factions part. But like in Silph Worlds for the factions, I'm like, dude, these Indian teams are killing it, man. And I'm like, I'm happy to see that. Like there's a lot of NA teams, but like, dude, I don't care if NA wins. I mean, there's NA gets a lot of spotlight, right? Like it's cool to see a lot of these Indian players and Indian teams do
Yeah.
so well because we're not going to see a lot of them in TPCI events, right? Maybe not at all in Yokohama
Yeah.
in a few weeks, but it's cool to see, and it's like it's also like they're like underdogs and also they're unknown, right? And this is like
Mm.
there's this like they're building their own story from the ground up, which is nice.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like last year for Silph Worlds, for like Silph individual worlds,
Mm.
Vroom Pow came from the
Yeah.
losers bracket and was like just plowing through, right? And like Rise Occasion was winning, was waiting on the winners bracket, right? And I'm like, I mean, I'm friends with Rise and he's from North America, right? So like I should be rooting for Rise, but in back of my mind, I'm like, dude, I kind of want Vroom Pow to take it, right? I was
Yeah.
commentating it with Speedy, like, you know, I don't know if it seemed like I was biased, but I'm like, dude, this is an incredible story, right? Not only has the world champion always been from NA, right, with
Yeah.
Speedy, Chief, and Doombug being the previous two, but like you know, you'd be upsetting that and stopping another NA, you know, a three-peat with the same region, but also like,
Yeah.
dude, like Vroom Pow, like no one really, I mean, I didn't really know too much about him before. I think I saw him in some Silph like tournaments, but that was it,
Mm.
right? Maybe even battled with him, but like outside of that, like you know, like no one really knew him. I was like, dude, what a great storyline this is, and what a great chance to spotlight someone else, right? That like
Yeah.
everyone knows Rise, like you know, it sucks that Rise didn't win it, but like he'll be okay getting second place at Worlds. You know, like people already know him.
Yeah.
He's not
Yeah.
going to get that much more famous, right? But Ruben Powell is going to get a lot more fans, right, and a lot more support and
Yeah.
stuff. And
And then the
it's
country itself, like there's more of a
yeah, the country
spotlight
itself.
as a result. Yeah.
And honestly, it might have made an impact in this past year, right?
Yeah.
Vroom Pow
Yeah.
takes the
Yeah.
championship home. A lot more people in
Yeah,
India are
man.
starting to battle more. Like it's just
Yeah.
it's incredible because yeah, I knew there were always Indian battlers in self remote tournaments and in factions, but like it
Mm.
was like you know I remember it was Wenko's team right in Japan that was like really
Yeah. Yeah.
taking like destroying all of APAC. Obviously, they're not together anymore, but like it wasn't like India was like the big top dogs, but now
Yeah.
they're clearly killing it, right? In
Yeah. No,
factions.
they are. Yeah.
So for me, like that's my you know connection I think to
Mm.
uh a lot of these you know events is I'm just rooting for I either root for the underdog, some of my friends and stuff,
Like
or
the
you
nicer
know
story as well. Isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, the story. Yeah, like I actually
Yeah.
don't
I
care
back
about the
that.
NA stuff as much. Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, we'll talk about that in factions. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. We'll get
I'm
into that.
gonna turn my
So
light on, innit? Yeah. I think this is
oh yeah, yeah, I just realized that too. It struck my
I've
snap. I
been
was like,
like
maybe you're trying to mirror me a little bit. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, yeah. So
been
let's
like slowly getting darker.
no, that's hilarious. I didn't realize that. Yeah, it's
Bro, I was just watching my face cam and I was like
yeah. For those that
I
don't
was
know,
like,
on
where do
the audio version, it's got real dark, right? I was so into my like little monologue that I didn't even notice.
I
My apologies. Yeah,
Oh,
we were just
alright, well,
but yeah, so before we get into the factions for Worlds and King of the Hill, we just want to say too, I'm sure Speedy wants to share some words too. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it for today, but so we did have one person from Worlds actually, not just Worlds, from a prominent member of the Silph community and factions community, recently passed away. Actually, so I'll read that specific snippet. Let me just timestamp this real quick, so that I know how to add it later, but I'll throw this on the screen. But it was actually a tweet from Chicago Stars, which is a big factions in North America. Went to World, they got second place in Worlds last year for factions, just narrowly losing out to EU Emperors, which controversially they potentially could have won too, but there's some disputes and stuff. But still second place there, and then they're you know making it all the way up to third/fourth place this year. But they said, we're sad to share that we lost our teammate, friend, and original captain, Brendan BurnoBus, also known as BurnoBus in the game, Tuesday morning due to complications from his long battle against leukemia. Um, We love you and we'll miss you immensely. And then I'll share the more longer version of this too. Brendan was a great battler, but more importantly, he was an incredible friend. Even during his own time of need, he was always caring for others, checking in on everyone, and make sure we all felt loved and respected. He cheered for us during our successes, and he showed us his unwavering confidence during our slumps. He was positive and grateful for every moment and was never upset, unless someone was trash talking the Stars, which is their team. We all have stories of when we first met him, and they all include him being the most welcoming, encouraging person. Because of Brendan and the environment he built, we can count on fellow Stars as great friends. We're honored that this team brought him joy in extremely difficult times and that we are able to update him with some positive news from the Stars in his final weeks. We're grieving his loss together and we will miss him immensely. He leaves a hole that can't be filled, but we'll do our best to follow the example he set for us. Um, he BurnoBus was actually one of the first people. So before factions, before one of the first team formats, it was probably the second one because Arkansas PP was probably the first one, but the first one, the second formats, online formats, was Go Team Up, which was a pretty prominent one, host from Go Stadium, and I remember we actually battled against BurnoBus's team, which used to be called the Chicago Corn Dogs, but yeah,
Nice.
a little different. Yeah, a little different. But it was 4v4, and we had different slots. I like someone would be A slot, B slot, C slot, D slot. You were battle respective A slot. The person in the other slot on the other team, and they're battles of 5. They weren't even battles of 3. So it was a lot of battles. You're battling for like almost like an hour straight sometimes, right? Depending on how long it take to lock in. And BurnoBus was the captain of his team. I was captain of mine. We're both always in the A slot, so we battle each other a lot, right? And Go Team Up Worlds, actually, it was our team versus his team in the grand finals, actually. So we battled out too for their only Worlds event too. So yeah, obviously they're a very good team making it to Worlds in multiple team formats. But I gotta say too, like I've spoken to him and about him ADL and GBL and stuff, and I was hosting a fundraiser once. He was like sharing kind words and donating as well to doing it. Like he's always been like it's like people aren't even saying like nice things about him because he's like passed away recently and stuff. Like he actually was like an incredible person. Like I looked at my DMs and like nothing but kind words. Like, when we battle, like, and if he loses to me, he's like, GG's, man. Like, I made a misplay there, but you played really well, blah, blah. Like, wish you all the best in the rest of the team format or whatever. Like, he's like always like the nicest guy with like such good sportsmanship, right? Like, it's just like, and when I look through these messages, it's just like so rare to find people like that. And it was like so tough because I knew he was battling cancer for quite some time. It's been like I want to say it's definitely been over a year, maybe even over 2 years, right?
Wow.
But like I remember he was going through leukemia while planning his wedding and everything. It was wild, right?
Wow.
Yeah. So I mean,
That's
obviously
mad.
he's actually pretty young too, right? All things considered
Yeah.
as well, like probably around our age. Um, but yeah, I think he touched a lot of people in the community, and it was very sad to hear that he did pass away too. And he was very involved in the team format. I think
Yeah.
at one point I looked at his history with the team, and I think he battled like almost every single week until he had to like take leave because he was dealing with leukemia, had to go through like chemo and all this his treatments, and he passed the captainship to someone else on the team to handle the duties. But
Yeah.
like the guy was like a fighter through and through, right? And yeah, incredible
Yeah, I
person.
think from what I understand, even like while he wasn't on the team and
Uh
while
huh.
they've been going through Worlds, he's still been like supporting. I think he was doing like recap streams and stuff like that of all their battles. So still very involved, like
Mm-hmm.
right
No,
until the end.
definitely. Yeah, and I think we talked a little bit off air too. You said you didn't
Yeah.
really know him too well, but you definitely, you maybe saw some
Yeah,
of
I
his
mean,
impact. Yeah.
like I battled him a couple times, but like nothing that I feel is like, mentionable in that sense. But
Hmm.
it's like I read it and I was just like, and I only found out as well about um him and his condition relatively recently while like trying to get some information from the Chicago Stars and do some videos and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
I only found out like recently. And it was just sad, because like obviously, anyone dying is sad, but I think like the PvP community as well is like so tight knit that you would definitely feel that kind of loss from any angle, regardless of like how much or little interaction you had with him, you know. And yeah, like you said, you know, nobody seemed to have anything. I mean, obviously, no one probably couldn't say anything negative, but like, you know, everyone was just, you know, overwhelmingly like positive things to say about him.
Yeah.
Only had like good stories, and yeah, I mean, so, you know, something like cancer is just tough,
Yeah, really
tough
tough.
in general.
Really tough.
Yeah.
I will say two things too for regarding like kind of BurnoBus and his legacy and everything like that. There are two things that are going on, especially one that's happening tomorrow from when the episode releases. But Arrow, one of our community members and part of Stadium Elite, is hosting BurnoBus's legacy. He Arrow used to run Arrow Draft League. I guess still runs it. Um, but Arrow Draft League will be hosting a charity fundraising stream in memory of BurnoBus, and it'll be happening tomorrow, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And it'll be hosted on Arrow's Twitch channel, so definitely stop by if you have the chance to. And all donations given will be given to the Andrew Weischer Foundation. I just want to make sure I'm saying that right. And we have I think 8 different battlers volunteered to be a part of that. So shout out to all those battlers, but also to Arrow and ADL and everyone organizing for this
Yeah.
event to host in BurnoBus's memory. It will be a BurnoBus's like ADL team. Everyone will be running his team actually from ADL
Oh,
that season,
nice.
which is kind of cool. Yeah, a bunch of mirror matches, which would be
Yeah.
kind of cool. Which would be interesting to see.
Yeah.
There's that, and then also on top of that, I know Palmer's up. Um, who you obviously know you work with at Dracoviz and
Yeah.
community member as well. He obviously makes a lot of graphics, and he started making graphics to summarize people's play Pokemon season. And he is going to be donating 100% of proceeds for people that want their graphic for the play Pokemon season for this season to cancer research in memory of BurnoBus as well. And so, two different opportunities to kind of help donate or do something in BurnoBus's memory, and to get in contact with to get the graphic from Palmer's Up. If you like to, just make sure to hit Palmer's Up on Twitter for that, and also again tune into the ADL stream on Arrow's channel if you like to give donations through that way as well. But two great ways that people in our community are kind of honoring BurnoBus's legacy. I'm sure something that he would love to see too.
You can put like links in the YouTube description, right?
I can, yeah,
Yeah.
I can. So I mean, it's tricky
Or do
because,
not, is it?
well, because it's just his Twitch channel, right? It's like, but if he's not live,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Fair
like,
enough.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no
True.
like
True.
link for that.
Yeah.
But people know Arrow, right?
Yeah.
Arrow underscore, right? AROH, maybe a second H.
Traveling man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
underscore on Twitch, right? And then at Palmer's Up on Twitter. Anyway, if anyone has issues finding the stuff, just leave a comment down below in the YouTube, and I could definitely direct you to the right resources. But yeah, shout out to those people that are helping out with these efforts too. And I think BurnoBus hopefully would be proud. But yeah, I mean, I think that was something when I was reading through messages, I was like, yeah, we could all definitely be I think better humans and kind of like, take after BurnoBus' example because he was just incredible, right? Like, he just didn't have a mean bone in his body. Like, he didn't even really even roast people much, right? Like, me, like, I'm like roasting people, making fun of people half the
Yeah.
time, right? Maybe more than half the time, but he was just like always super nice too, right?
Yeah.
I never roasted him because he was so nice. I can't. He was so nice.
Yeah. You need some give
Yeah.
and take in
Yeah.
it.
Incredible person, incredible battler, incredible leader, and yeah, will definitely be missed. Will definitely be missed. But that being said, we do have some news related to stuff going on in Silph factions
Yeah.
for Worlds and King of the Hill. I'll let you take this part away. This is your
Okay.
forte. I know you keep track of
Bread
these
and butter,
things.
you know.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, or
okay.
maybe
So
beans
for
on toast, from your origins.
nah, bro. Let's not.
Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page
There's
there because I
something. Yeah. There's some
I
things I
tried
don't
it
want to
too
identify
many
with.
times and it never landed. I was like, if this is acquired taste, I have not acquired
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, but I'm not running to it. You know. Well, so obviously well, not obviously, but for anyone who did tune into Twitter Spaces while we were doing it weekly, um, we were covering each stage of Worlds, having some guests on, stuff like that. That's also, you can go and listen back if you want. Didn't do it last week. Not gonna lie, I was just really tired.
That's
And
fair.
this week,
Time
look,
zones too.
yeah, bruv, mate. You know what? Yeah, Australia is the worst place to cater for the rest of the world. Like, there's just
You're not close to
because
anything, right? Yeah.
no, bro. I
Yeah.
think you know what? I'm even thinking like, oh, surely I'm close to Asia. I ain't even close to Asia.
How
Yeah,
what's the
like,
time zone between
bro.
you and like Japan?
Okay, Japan at the
Australia and
moment
Japan.
is apparently not too bad, and also because I'm Melbourne, so it's like I think one
Yeah.
hour or 2 hours. Yeah, bro.
Oh,
Imagine
okay.
India is 4.5 hours.
India's 4.5. Oh
It's
wow.
4.5 hours.
That's
Anyway,
yeah.
um, so but so yeah, we missed last week, and we got up to the did we get up to the semi-finals? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
we got up to about the quarterfinals. Now, the quarterfinals was interesting because we'd just done an episode where the top 16 had just happened, and we did a little focus on the two Brazilian teams. We'd wanted to get them on for a while, hadn't got them until then. So Magnus PvP and Hydra Esports. Now, personally, in terms of the favorites of Worlds, I would have said it was Infinity Go White, Pogoats, and Magnus PvP. Those three
Really.
teams were just they were in like such a dominant position.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was hard to say that any of them wouldn't get at least top four, and none of them got top four,
Yeah.
which is insane. So Magnus actually lost in the quarterfinals to Elite TMs.
Hmm.
We then had Indian Titans Elite, who were one of the Indian teams that did super well. They'd been, winning every single game. A couple Japanese players on there as well, doing super well as well.
Hmm.
And they lost 11-10 to Chicago Stars. Now, this was a while ago, so I don't remember the uh, the exact like mechanics of the matches in terms of like
Yeah.
was it 9-10 at the end or something like that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
remember in it, but obviously it ended up really close and there was a dispute as well, so I guess if that dispute had gone the other way then it might have been different.
Dude, that grid score in that game was wild. It was 11-10, but there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of the 7 matches were 3-0s.
That's wild. That
Crazy,
is
just back and
wild,
forth 3-0s. Yeah,
bro.
just sweeps
And you
on
know what is
all
mad
ends.
as well, because actually we haven't seen that much of that in Worlds so far, like, or at least in
Mhm.
the group stages there was a lot of like if a team was dominating there might be 1-3-0 here and there,
Yeah,
but it was majority like 2-1s.
yeah.
Then we had Hydra Esports who lost to NEB, and NEB being Northeast Battlers, and lost by a considerable amount. It
Mhm.
was 14-7, which,
Yeah.
like, wild. And then Metal Raptors against Delhi Darmanitans. This was a matchup that I didn't really want to see happen because obviously it means that only one of those teams can go through, right? So
Yeah.
a little Indian mirror match there, and Metal Raptors actually won. And the thing is, if I remember correctly on this one, it was in Delhi Darmanitan's favor right at
Mhm.
the end.
Mhm.
And then I think they managed to get like 6 points or something mad, Metal
Yeah.
Raptors. So
I think
managed
Nava
to pull
Empire
out.
got like a sweep in the end or something, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So it was actually super impressive there. So then we come to the quarterfinals, which has just happened last week. Elite TMs versus Chicago Stars. Now, unfortunately, this was around the time where BurnoBus passed, and so understandable, with a team that close, that
Mhm.
it may take a toll on. Pokemon's not going to be your major priority in that time,
Yeah.
right? And an unfortunate loss there, quite a significant loss, 16-5. But again,
Mhm.
I don't think any of the players really cared, to be honest.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, and still making it to the quarterfinals, so top 4 in
yeah, I
Silph
mean,
Factions Worlds is no
yeah. The
joke.
thing
Top 4
is
teams in the
Chicago
world, right?
Stars had like a very difficult run. They beat Pogoats. They had the
By
group
1.
where, yeah, by one they beat Indian Titans Elite by
Mhm.
one. They had the group where Bro, your cat is doing a madness in the background.
Okay.
I don't know what that thing was doing,
Dude.
but yeah, they had the group where like no group went down to sudden death, where the last match was the decider match for who would go through, except for that group. So
Oh
that
yeah.
was a super tight group with EU Emperors in it as well, the former champions. So
Yeah.
they had a super impressive run, and yeah, just unfortunate timing, but again, I think they're obviously just really proud of their performance so far. And also, there's going to be a third and fourth place playoff, so
Yeah.
I think they'll definitely be looking to at least secure that third place. And then we had the Metal Raptors beat Northeast Battlers 12-9. So this means we have a rematch of Elite TMs and the Metal Raptors. Now, let me
Yeah.
double check that I'm correct with that, but I
Oh,
believe they
Metal
were in the
Raptors,
same group.
they beat them. They were the only team that beat Elite teams and by 1 point in the group stage. Yeah. So they
So
got a rematch. That's gonna be a
yeah,
close one.
man, bro, this is gonna be sick. So well, I think one thing that's good is they've announced that they're not gonna make it live, and I think that's really good because obviously,
Yeah, time zones and everything too.
I don't know if this is the case with a lot of formats, but like there's some formats which tend to be time zone wise, like kind of NA skewed. So I think it's good that they're not doing this for this. Like you can still stream it afterwards, but
Yeah.
don't force everyone to play live and like in
It
weird time
also
zones.
gets weird too because team formats for factions.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yo, this is my hot take too.
Yeah,
I don't love it, but you kind of had to do it if you want to be competitive. You're like everyone's on a call usually, and they're like helping
yeah,
you like pick
yeah,
lines, make decisions, and sometimes the lock-in times can be long. You can be like sitting there till like you're about to time out, right? Like factions
yeah. Bro,
matches,
I've
like
seen a couple of those still.
three battles can be
Yeah.
45 minutes, dude. I remember once. Dude, I mean, this is my own teammate. There was like a potential dispute where we're reviewing like the
Uh,
replay and stuff, but there were two battles happening at once on my team, and it was my teammate Palmer's up, who you know, and then my other teammate Monstars. And let me just say, Polly started his battle before Monstar did. It took
uh,
so long that Monstar started like 30 minutes after. I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna watch Monstars because they're still trying to like Polly's still like struggling with his next line or something like that, and
yeah.
someone else is on the call with him helping him out, right? So I'm like, let me help out Monstars at least, right? I go and watch Monstars battle that started 30 minutes later. Monstars finishes battle. I come back and Polly still hasn't started his third game yet, dude. I'm like, dude, you've been battling for like an
What's he
hour
doing?
straight. Yeah, dude. I mean, part of it was like there was like some lag issue and stuff, and essentially
Okay.
he lagged, but his opponent, shout out to them too, was from Crimson Tigers
Yeah.
from King of the Hill. They were
Uh,
nice, and they like purposely chose not to tap to let him catch up a little
right.
bit. And Polly was like, dude, I lagged. And I'm like, but he kind of paused, like maybe see a footage if he really paused, because he couldn't tell if he paused or not because he was lagging at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
And I was just like, dude, like we can dispute it, but honestly, like it's an exhibition format, King of the Hill, but also like let's not like go crazy on a dispute here. Like they have
yeah,
good enough faith to stop tapping, and like honestly, even if there's like a slim chance you win this, like we should just let it go and just play
yeah.
next, right?
True,
Like
true,
it's just
true. Yeah,
like when they have that much like sportsmanship to actually try to let it catch up and sync up so that you don't have to go through the rematch, right? And give you a chance there. Um,
may as
so
well
we end
allow
up
it.
not
Yeah.
even playing a dispute match. So he only battled 3 times. It wasn't like we kept rematching, right? Like it was only 3 battles. It was like an hour later. I'm like, dude, Matt, what's going on? I think I was at NEIC at the time. I'm like, dude, I need to go to sleep because I had the cast tomorrow. But like, dude, I'm just waiting for you to finish this. Yeah. So
Yeah,
sometimes
that is
these
a
battles
mad
can
thing.
take a while, which is I'm glad it's not live because then
Yeah,
they can just speed through all the stuff. Yeah.
yeah, for real. Well, then we have King of the Hill. So actually, it's your time to shine. So around the time I stopped
If you
covering
say
it
so. If you
was
say so.
around the time that my team lost. Unfortunately, we lost by 1 point against Eat Pasta, the
Yeah.
pasta people.
Yeah.
But
So
we
you
had
want
a
us to take revenge
pretty.
on them, right? That's what you're telling me.
Nah, you know what? I don't know if I'd rather have lost to the champions or that. Yeah, so it's still up
Okay,
in the
okay,
air.
I see how
Still up in
this.
the air. But it
Well,
was
you didn't play
interesting because
that week
actually
too. You didn't play
I
that
didn't
week,
play
so
that week as
maybe
well.
that's
Yeah,
why.
but
Yeah.
it's a it's a heartfelt connection. You know how it is. But yeah, that was an interesting week as well because we also had like one team, for example, Asian Zarshin's Elite, who are the sister team of Indian Titans Elite,
Mm.
who'd been doing really well so far, but got absolutely murked by Blue Marlins. SoCal Swablu Gold beating Texas PvP. Obviously, a lot of NA matchups, and then you lot absolutely, bro, demolishing Stadium Lee Silver. But
Dude,
were you the
Polly
only
messed up a
loss?
3-0.
Okay, you weren't
So
the
so
only loss.
let me break down how it went. I
Okay,
went
go
1-2 against Jonathan Kelly, right? It was actually my first loss in first like loss set in King of the Hill so far. And I was like, man, dude, I've been trying to carry the torch for my team, right? Right after that, I think Auburn 3-0s, right? And then after that, Twastel 3-0s, a matchup that like looked awful for him. I'm about to do a recap on
Yeah,
my
he was.
YouTube channel later,
Yeah,
so y'all can see how bad it looked. Awful. I don't know how he got that 3-0. It was a really impressive one. And then after that, Monstars 3-0s, DFH 3-0s, right? So 4 3-0s back to back. And I'm like, Polly, you gotta get a 3-0 here. You can't mess up. He had a decent team comp too, right? And
yeah,
I think he had a lot going on. He had some like, family stuff as well. So he was like sharing his screen, but he was like muted. He couldn't even talk, right? There's too much
yeah.
going on. So I think that was part of it. And he botches a 3-0. Like he could have done it. He like counter swaps a Mew with his A9 when he had a Vigoroth. I'm like, dude, you just go in.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm not
And
gonna lie.
the guy had a Scrafty in the back. You saved the Charmaine 9 for the
Uh,
Scrafty, you just win, right? He had a Jellicent to Charizard lead, right? And so he lost 1 point there. Ivy Pips, one of my patrons and also like a great community member, he sent me a meme after of like the guy that's like over celebrating me where he's like champagne bottle and you see he's standing on third place. He's like me with my teammates right now. He's the first one to get a point in like since Jonathan Kelly's match, right? And then Ramberto lost 2-1. But we were just going through it. Like Jonathan Kelly was like, dude, at this point, I want all my teammates to get 3-0'd, right? So I could be the hero at least. I'm the only one that went positive. But that's how that one played out. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
your
funny.
first mistake, honestly, was expecting the 3. I think Polly's mentioned this before. Yeah, he's been like, yeah, don't you hate it in team formats where like, everyone goes 3-0, and now like obviously you're a team of one, but like now you feel like you have to 3-0, and
Dude,
I'm
he
like,
had
bro.
to. Well, it's not even like, I don't even mind if it was like a tough comp or something. He just threw the 3-0. Like he could have had it. He just messed
Yeah.
up. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
That's
well, well, that then brought us to last week where you guys. I mean, the thing is with Blue Marlins, right? So they aren't from a significant tier in factions,
Mm-hmm.
but they're a Brazilian team. And
Yeah.
the thing is that I think, if we've seen anything over the last year, is there's a lot of like low key LATAM players which we just don't know of, and then just end up like pulling stuff out. So impressive that they got this far as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, that is a 17-4.
I need to get
Oh,
my
and
3-0
then
back.
Auburn was the only one who lost?
Yeah. So no, dude. Funniest
Okay,
turn of
go on,
events. Let
go
me just
on.
illustrate this to you, right? Auburn was also flying all day. Like he's a pilot in
Okay,
real life. He like woke up at
yeah,
6 a.m. He's like flew so much. He was like you could tell he was exhausted. Like I knew
yeah.
when he lost count at one point. He was like, wait, what? They have another move. I'm like, my God. I was like, you're the count master here, right? Like I thought you. I wasn't even keeping track counts. I thought you knew, right? He actually could have won his match. Like the opponent safe swap a Quagsire, and Auburn had he had a Cresselia in the back, and he counter swaps Miltank accidentally. He just misclicks,
Oh,
right?
no,
And then the third Pokemon the opponent had was Shadow Scizor, and he had that locked into the
yeah.
Cresselia eventually, right? So he could have got the 2-1. But let me break it down for you. It was the scheme of events was so funny. So Auburn battles first, just like how I battled first a week before. He goes 1-2, and then
Flipping
Roberto
dog.
battles second. He gets 3-0. I get a 3-0, and then Toiselle gets a 3-0, and then DFH gets a 3-0. So we have the same exact score coming just like before. DFH is the person battling right before Polly yet again, and Polly has to battle, right? So like, Polly, don't mess this up. Like, you got to get a 3-0 here, right? Like, this is your chance to redeem yourself. We have the same exact score from last time. It's exactly the score reported was the same exact order. Just me and Auburn were switching our scores around, and Polly goes 2-1, right? But to be fair, this time, like, he didn't really throw. I think the
Yeah,
opponent just played well, and I think like there wasn't too much he could have done that match, right? It wasn't like an
yeah,
easy like 2-1 or anything. And then
Bro,
Monsters
there's a
goes,
Poly 3-0 meme of the
yeah,
one you just said, like coming
right.
up soon, where your whole team loses, but like
Yeah,
he gets that 3-0
he gets a 3-0 finally. Yeah, let's hope
celebrated.
not. Let's hope not. But and then Monsters, he won 2-1. So if he won 1-2, we would have had repeated the exact score
Yeah,
schematic from the previous week, which would
yeah.
have been hilarious. But
Yeah, well, super dominant there. But then past the people pretty much dominating against SoCal Swablu. I mean, I guess it was relatively close, but the thing is, everyone won
Mhm.
except for Frank the Tank. So, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah, the 3-0 was
yeah,
Swablues needed a 3-0 in the end to win it, which is tough, right?
yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that actually. It came down to that, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know what? It's yeah, NA EU finals. And honestly, do you know what? I'll be honest.
Mhm.
If there were two teams which I think should have made worlds and didn't due to like technicalities or anything else, it's
Yeah.
literally your
These
team
two.
and Pasta. Yeah.
Makes
Well,
sense.
and, okay. Also,
Sky Dragons were also
who's the
pretty good.
Spanish team? No, Sky Dragons are kind of wavering. I'll be honest. And I think
Really?
it's the
Oh, well, they
Spanish
gave us
team.
our closest bout for sure. It was 11-10.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
had
Well,
two
yeah.
ones
I
across
mean,
the board and
in
one
the
twos.
cycle
Yeah.
they were like wavering. Yeah, but I
Oh,
think
I see. I
Amaretto
see.
were the other argument where
Oh,
they
yeah,
actually
yeah,
finished
yeah.
super high up. Yeah, but
Yeah.
in Emerald
Yeah,
Cup
I
it
remember
was
they
only
were
because they
in
got
the
relegated.
talks. Who took them out?
Yeah. So,
Who took out Almeretta?
Pasta. Yeah,
Oh, Pasta did. Okay, okay. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's
Oh my gosh! Oh yeah, about 4. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah,
yeah,
pretty
pretty
dominant.
good final to be honest.
Yeah.
But you know what? This brings us to Silph solo. So maybe
hmm I got a
speedrun
question
said
for
it.
you though. Before we
Uh,
get too far into this, right?
uh,
For both Worlds and King of the Hill, who you got taking both formats? You can
I
only pick one
okay.
now. There's only 2 options for it. You can't go. You can't sit
Yeah,
on the fence on this one.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna start with Worlds. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm personally rooting for Metal Raptors. The thing is, I think Metal Raptors have just, yeah, they've definitely been like super dominant. Elite TMs are, in my opinion, they were the team that I thought had the most potential back when they started climbing, right?
hmm
And for some reason, in the, you know, during the cycles, they never really performed to the level that I thought their team was capable of. Do you know what I mean? They had so many good players on their team. And I was just this is an insane team, yeah,
Yeah.
and it just never felt like they were really, representing that properly.
Yeah.
Um,
But they did pick up
and
Shady back up, and then Dilap adding on
Ilap
is
as well, but I
dude.
mean,
Dilap, I was
bro,
concerned at first because I was like,
do
dude,
you know what I mean? This
this
guy is
guy's
not a
gone
faction of one.
0-3, 4 out of 5 times in
Yeah,
his last 5 bouts on Deoxys Alberta defense, and the one time he didn't, he went 1-2,
bro,
and
he
he
was
was
in the
just looking
wrong Canadian team,
shaky,
bro.
real
Yeah,
shaky, dude. When he started Worlds, 2-1, 2-1, 2-1, and then 1-1-2, and then 2 back-to-back 3-0s. And he just won the NA Silph Continental too. Like this guy's like
bro.
on something else. I don't know what
Whatever
they're
they
feeding
fed
him on
him,
elite
like,
TMs. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Maybe they gave him some elite
it's-
TMs finally. He could use red
yeah,
movesets.
yeah.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Isn't it? Yeah. God knows there's a drought.
yeah.
Well, yeah. So
So you're rooting for Metal
I'm rooting.
Raptors. Do you think they actually take it
Yeah.
though?
I don't want to sit on the fence because obviously you know something about that, but I think they can. Yeah. The thing is that like all their players are solid and they've just shown. They've not had an easy run. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, there's
Mhm.
no easy run in Worlds, but there's easier runs, and theirs definitely wasn't one of them.
Yeah,
They've taken out like top tier teams, like so. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm on the Metal Raptors side. The thing is, yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't want to be on the fence. I'm just going to lock in Metal
All right,
Raptors
all
on that.
right.
'Cause,
Honestly,
yeah,
though, looking at the roster of who's battling each other this week, the only person I think that's going to Worlds in Yokohama is Dilap. So that means
yeah,
that everyone's just focused in on. Well, actually, no. Dilap actually is going to be playing
and
in the
Shady.
Silph. Well, I don't think Shady's going though. I
Oh,
don't
he's
think
not
so.
going.
No, I don't think
Oh,
so. He said it
wow.
back once he qualified that he actually can't make it for whatever reason, but
Oh,
I think
man.
he had an obligation. But Dilap actually has to prep for Silph World Solo
Yeah,
World, so maybe he
I'd
is a
love to
little
be.
busy. I was
Yeah,
gonna say like they all got all the time in the world to prep for this, right? But
yeah,
he probably, I mean, he's good. Like I don't think he needs like that much prep. But
yeah. Also, like, what's he playing? Okay, I don't know what the Pandemonium meta is this week, but
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think they can definitely take it now. But yeah, I'm gonna support
Okay.
Metal Raptors for this one.
All right. All right. Yeah. Well, what about King of the Hill?
Hey, bro, like,
I
like I
could
said earlier,
don't worry. I
innit?
could take it. I could take the truth. Right. You just tell me who you think takes it. Right. This one's trickier because we never battled,
yeah,
right? Like they battled, it was like
yeah.
11-10, right?
Do
But
you know
we
what? I'll
never
be
battled.
very honest in it, yeah. And I think this ties into the solo self as well, yeah, bro. The Italians are not playing around. They are not playing around right now, yeah. These men are like, like, and again, we'll go into the controversies with the solo self, but these guys are taking up the majority of the self leaderboard right
They
now.
are.
Yeah,
They
they
are.
are on an absolute tear. Yeah,
No one on my team
yeah,
even plays solo Silph except for me.
yeah, but on oh yeah, the Italians are doing a madness. So honestly, I think they can very much do it. Obviously, your team's good in it, but
Okay.
yeah, man,
Okay.
they're
We'll see.
they're a different beast. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah,
We'll see how it goes. I know a couple of
yeah,
them. None of us are playing in. Well, some of us will be playing in Yokohama Worlds and TBCI, but none of us are playing in Silph Worlds. I know a
yeah.
couple of them are playing in. I know what.
Two of them, I believe. It's
Geo
Giopi
is right.
and Aspercelto. Yeah, Aspercelto.
Yeah, so hopefully
Yeah,
that will keep them busy this weekend.
yeah.
Don't
But
worry about King of
do
the
you know what the
Hill.
thing is? Yeah, they're so bruv. They're so like they're so good as a team as well. They've got like such good, relations in
Yeah.
general. Yeah, and
How did
and
they not
also, you know
make
what? Here's another
worlds?
thing.
What?
Huh?
How did they not
It
make
was
worlds
I
for?
think it was some technicality about getting like demoted or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Or
Okay, that's
maybe they
unfortunate.
didn't even get to emerald. I can't remember. I can't remember. But it was definitely like fringe.
Hmm.
Um, but also, yeah, I'll be very honest. Yeah, I heard your team doesn't even practice. Yeah, bruv, you know these men have already started their practice. So,
Look, I won't reveal the team secrets, but not all of us even
well, there
battle
are
on
none. You
call.
don't. You don't do it. You don't know.
Yeah, not all of us even DFH. We don't even know what DFH's voice sounds like.
Oh, really?
This guy just plays by himself and
Yeah.
just goes like 3-0s and stuff. Like it's
Oh,
madness. Like when I battle, like I kid you not, it's so unfortunate that he didn't qualify for Worlds from TBC.
yeah. Or
Maybe
didn't
he's
even the first part, like,
yeah. I
because
don't think he
that's the
I didn't
worst
think
part.
he
Yeah.
got to the
He didn't make
qualifier
it to the
stage. Yeah, because I
PJCS.
think if
Yeah.
he got to PJCS, he has a better chance. But
Yeah, for sure. Innit?
best of ones in a Pokemon
But
Center, like he just
so
couldn't
dumb,
get far
man.
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, like when I play someone, dude, when I play him, it is like frustratingly hard. And like
Yeah.
sometimes he has a good team comp, but even when he doesn't have a good team comp, like I'll take screenshots. I'll be like just straight losing him in my journal for like 2 hours straight, right? I'm not even stressed. I give up after a while, right? I usually give up after I finally win one, which will be like an hour later,
Yeah.
right? He even helped me
Man.
scrim for Ultra League once for Justicar. I was like, I didn't even know you had
Yeah.
stuff built for Ultra League. And like again,
God.
new meta, he never played, right? I won like a couple in the beginning, and then he started catching on real quick. I was like, oh, dude, this is like he knows now. Yeah, he's
Mad.
yeah. Between him and Auburn, when I scrimmed them, I feel like I go in the hyperbolic time chamber. I come out like better after losing.
Hey,
Yeah,
that is a sick feeling. Can't
yeah,
lie.
yeah. It's not a sick feeling when you take all the L's, but
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
but
Hey, I
hey,
mean,
you know what? Yeah,
w-
this goes back to some of the comments earlier.
yeah.
Like you need to take them L's to
Hmm.
take the W's because
Exactly.
L is before W
It
in the
is.
alphabet. Yeah,
Well,
this
usually,
is my
yeah.
version of doing a speedy like.
Yeah, the dad joke. Yeah, the resident dad
There's
joke.
that one. Yeah,
I like that one. I might throw that in there sometimes. Well,
yeah,
Speedy's
yeah,
taking a lot of L's before his W, but maybe
yeah, yeah.
his
But
alphabet soup's a little different.
yeah, his alphabet's like 50
Yeah,
letters long.
yeah. I will say,
Yeah.
sometimes when I scrim with my teammates, right, it's usually like Auburn for Ultra League
Mm.
because he has the most stuff built. Um, I just like lose, right? I'm like 1-5
Yeah.
against him, right? Whatever. And I was get 3-0 or get 2-1. He's like, dude, how are you winning these? I'm like, I literally, after I scrim him, like maybe have a bad team comp, he finds the
Yeah.
hole in it, or he just like plays better than me. And I literally just scrim him, I lose. I'm just like, you know what? Like, I just got to refocus. I'm like, I just think the back of my
Mm.
head, I'm like, they're not going to be as good as Auburn, right? That's all I need to know,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I have a
true.
bad team comp where I didn't play well, but I just need to hope that they're not as good as Auburn, and that's my win
Yeah.
con, right? My win con's not like make a good play. My win cons, their skill level's not the same, right?
They're just
Like what I
worse.
just scrimmed for the past
Yeah.
hour is not going to be what I'm going to see, right? And usually that's the
Yeah.
case. I mean, no hate on any of my opponents, but like, dude, Auburn's good for a reason. Like,
Mm.
so if
Also,
I
I'd argue like, especially in team formats, like it's kind of favorable if you're losing these practice matches because it's like those are all the losses and mistakes that you could
Yeah.
have made in the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you made them early, you
Yeah.
learned from them, and you're like, well, I ain't making that mistake again, you know?
Exactly.
So I think that's important, you know, the more you
Yeah.
lose beforehand.
Well, we don't actually practice, so we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, yeah,
yeah,
not
yeah.
relevant
We'll
to you
see.
then.
I'm curious. Now I'm really curious. I'll see you in Japan, and
Yeah,
we'll talk about this. Or if we
I
get,
then.
we're not talking
Uh,
about this. We're just moving on.
well, I know what was it? It was like Cegagatori.
Who?
Espresso taught me this for the blog post I made about the Italian players, and it
Oh,
was
okay.
Cegagatori. It means like what amazing players or something like that. So
Ah.
that's what I have to say on the subject.
All right. All right.
Cegagatori.
All right. So you're clearly rooting for them, is what I hear.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of been locked in over the last
Yeah,
5 minutes. I
yeah,
can't lie.
yeah.
Yeah,
20 minutes ago, you were seeing a different
yeah.
tune, but
I
I think
was,
it's pretty clear who you're rooting for.
yeah.
All right.
Let's
All
go.
right. But we have solo Silph, right?
Solo Silph.
Yeah.
Now this is super interesting because yeah, so obviously there was 4 continentals. Now there were no regionals this season,
Mm-hmm.
and the requirements to qualify for continentals weren't exactly strict. I think like with the amount of players, there wasn't as many players taking it seriously, so it was like they had a smaller pool to work with. So there was a lot more qualifiers for continentals. However, this also meant that it was the most stacked tournaments because all the best players were there.
Mm-hmm.
And bruv, honestly, yeah, like if you watch any of these live, like at one point I'm like, I don't really know how they're working this out in here because they do like the
Yeah.
little tie break rounds, yeah. But
Uh-huh.
basically, yeah, throughout the whole thing, you're just like, I have no clue who's going to take it because you look at the amount of players who are on. Okay, so the
Mm-hmm.
first one was EMEA, and there were so many players who are on 5 points. And 5 points was basically at that point as well. It was like, well, they were one win away from getting to tiebreak round or something
Yeah.
like that. And you've got players like, Heisenberg, Varney, C. Leonardo. So that's a bit of a, I'll mention that a bit later. Nickname, like insane players. And it finally came to tiebreak round. Now we had Pablo Dinas, who's a Spanish battler, and actually came, I believe it was like 8th or something in what was the last regional
Torino?
again? Torino. Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
he actually came very far, but he was never on the stream.
Uh-huh.
He actually went very far there. Gioppi, who also made it very far that day as well in Torino. And Gioppi is something like 3rd on the leaderboards in Silph or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the end, it came down to Gioppi, Pablo, King Out, and PvP David, and Verusico, who's like a Hungarian player.
Mm-hmm.
And PvP David actually managed to win it. I don't think he was in the lead throughout like most of the tournament.
Yeah.
But the tiebreak round really, really did it for him. Gioppi got 2nd place, and then King Out got 3rd place. So King Out is a UK battler, and like obviously I'm from the UK, but I'm not actually very familiar with them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's cool to see new talent, like assuming
Yeah.
they are new, yeah, love that for them. Then we had NA straight after. So NA, I mean, do you want to speak about NA? Because you obviously took part in it.
Dude, at my first match, I had to face Elite, and again, I didn't bring it alone stand slash counters because like, who was bringing this? It was a limited format. I didn't think anyone could take
Bro,
it.
I'm
Dude,
not gonna
that
lie, I
thing
would have
was a
cried.
pain, right? Again, I was like, I thought like I'm never gonna have to relive this, right? I never am. And dude, right off the bat, round one, because also like I didn't play a
That's
lot
the
of
truth.
tournaments this season, right? So I
Yeah.
was like in the middle of the pack.
Mm.
So like when you're in the middle of the pack, it could be really good or really bad because they
Yeah,
paired like
yeah.
best
Depends on
players
which
with the
side you're on,
middle,
innit? Yeah.
and then like the bottom mid, like the other, and then the other part of the middle with the bottom ranked, right?
Yeah.
And I was stuck with the pairing with the top of the rank instead of the bottom part, right? So my first opponent
Oh,
could have
mate.
been way ranked way lower than me, which doesn't really say
Yeah.
everything. But the people that are very high are not ever there accidentally, right? Some
Yeah,
people at the bottom
exactly.
might be there accidentally because they didn't play a lot. But I was like, dude, I might be facing Rise first or Ali or Wadash, and ended up being freaking Ali, and I got 3-0'd.
Oh, yeah.
It was I have some footage. I might cover it, but we'll see. Yeah, the moment like
Yeah.
I saw it, I took a screenshot, and my team was like, look, it was of course round one. Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't have been right otherwise, right? And Elite actually went like super far, but I think, you know what, one thing that we didn't mention is the format. So it was like a slot-based format, but a lot of the teams ended up being like almost a spicy version of what you see in regionals at the moment. So like a slightly spicy version. So it was predominantly stuff that you would see. No Registeel is, I think, a bit of a notable thing. But as a result, I mean, I'm not saying as a result, but like, a lot of the people who were top of the table are also people who have been excelling in the regionals as well, So in the end, you had Woodage coming in third, Magic Mason coming second, and Dilap coming first.
Yeah.
And again, these are all like, seasoned regional players. Jay's fan coming in fourth, but so I'll go on that after. Do that after.
Yeah, the other way to qualify.
Yeah. So then you had APAC Continental. So I was kind of half following this. So the thing is with the streams, there was so much like downtime in the middle.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
well, you can only watch so many because they're like, unless you're going to not sleep for 24 hours straight.
Oh
right?
yeah, no, I wasn't watching those streams. Yeah, well, I just in general, do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
There's like a lot of downtime in the middle, so it was a bit, thing. But what was really cool about the APAC division was we had a lot of players from countries that previously weren't as represented in Silph, like Japan.
Yeah.
You had some like Thai players, some like players from like Malaysia and stuff like that. But as in like, obviously you had them, but you also had them doing really well. So actually, the top three was Nyankake, who is a Japanese player. Unfortunately, they qualified for PJCS, but they didn't quite make the top. I think they had a very average record. But they were actually one of the I don't want to say favorites, but they were definitely one of the better players going in. So it's nice to see that they've actually managed to do well in Silph. And also, this one thing that's notable is this year Japanese players have really been engaging in Silph compared to previous years. A bit of a response to their lack of they felt like they were unprepared for Show 6 last year for Worlds. So they've just been banging out loads of Silph. Inner Bloom 94. So, bruv, this guy has been trying in the regionals and unfortunately just coming like super short. So I'm happy that he's actually managed to do this. And this will be his second time in Silph Worlds because he was there last year as well. So
wow, he's really good too. I battled him in one of the first Silph Ember Cup and I got spanked.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I want to. Okay, no, it wasn't Ember. But yeah, you know what, he did super well, and also we were looking at like a lot of the teams that qualified, and his was particularly different from a lot of the teams that you had running around. He was running like Venusaur in his starter slot, running Quagsire. So
I had Venusaur too, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, I thought it was good because Charizard. Well, I had Bastion, so no one really brought Charizard into me.
Well,
yeah,
that was obviously your problem. And then third place was Rifki Aditya. Now, if I remember correctly, so Rifki is, I think, Indonesian, right?
Okay.
Is it Indonesian? Yeah. And he actually was in the Indonesian qualifiers for Worlds. I think he was like maybe sixth or something like that. Like it definitely went to the second stage, the playoff stage. Right. But just didn't quite make it. But again, nice to see he's qualified for Silph Worlds here. And if you look at some of the people who just missed the cut, Chiodo, who's a world qualifier and actually made it to the top 8 of PJCS. Yeah. Harish, who we mentioned earlier. Yeah. A lot of really Rick Flareon, Master Mihir, Beals Boys. So a lot of good competition there.
Yeah.
Interesting thing to note is actually, so Vroom Vroom Pow is the reigning world champion, so he'll be auto qualifying. However, he did take part in Continentals. Him and Jakobovic and some other people got disqualified from the tournament because they were on stream. Yeah, and
do they not know the rules? Because I know one of my patrons actually got disqualified too.
Is it?
The
thing is, apparently the rules
what my patron was doing is Yeah, because he was actually foreign. He or no, he was he also got removed. Oh, him and I think his opponent too actually got removed at the same
Ooh,
time. But the reason
okay.
is because this was like the third regional, he had it
Yeah,
on from the EMEA and
yeah, yeah, yeah,
NA. So he would just had it on the background because he was like trying to prep and like trying to see what comps there
yeah,
were.
yeah,
So he
yeah,
just
yeah.
had it on a separate tab, right? But he wasn't watching it.
Oh, and they got him for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bruv. The
He was
worst part is
pissed.
as well is apparently they weren't even enforcing this rule with the first 2 days. And like I understand then you know
Uh,
you're like, okay, well this is an over or the first two
yeah.
events, right? So it's like, okay, cool, it's an oversight. We gotta like,
Yeah.
enforce this. But
Tighten up.
I don't know how much they really stressed the rule in the competitors' chats. I have no idea. But
They did for they did a lot for NA. They made it very clear. And
is it?
like they made it very clear like right when the tournament started to not just like early
Okay,
communication you might
okay.
have forgot, right?
Right.
But at least for NA, I don't know
Yeah,
for APAC, but I think a lot of judges might have been the same too. So my guess is
yeah,
they probably did, but you never know,
yeah.
right? Yeah, maybe there were a lot of NA people still watching. They just didn't check it, right? So more people would
Maybe,
have got
yeah,
kicked out.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, that's unfortunate. But I mean, Vroom qualified anyway, and
yeah,
Djokovic is going to normal worlds anyway, so I don't
yeah.
think he's too disappointed. Then we have Latam. So Latam, super interesting because um, the top. So I don't know too much about a lot of the Latam players.
Hmm.
Javier came fourth. Now Javier V20 has literally missed like cut in so many tournaments this season
Uh
in
huh.
regionals, like either missing, like qualification by one or two spaces, or like even last year the same thing happened, and it happened again. he's missed qualification by one spot, which was really
uh,
unfortunate. But the top three we had Lindo's Bernardo. Now Lindo's Bernardo, if I remember correctly, this guy is under 18 Brazilian player.
oh wow.
Super strong in GBL, and also a member of, I believe he was on Hydra Esports.
Hmm.
So, really good player there. Paulinho Taji,
Yep, I know
who,
chestnut guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Chestnut. Yeah, he was having a
Uh-huh.
bit of a tough time in factions, but
Okay.
this is definitely a nice boost to the confidence before going
Definitely.
into Worlds. Like super strong result here. And Jeron Sanks, I honestly know nothing about Jeron Sanks, so I
Dude,
can't
I
really
play
comment.
this Jerson Sanks guy all the time in
Yeah.
GBL.
Is it?
Constantly. Yeah. It's usually an Ultra League. So every time, it doesn't matter what cup in Ultra League, like a limited cup or Ultra League Open, I see Jerson Sanks like once a week. I didn't realize they're even from Latam. Yeah.
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 Well,
They're
you know
always
what?
good
This
battles. I mean, I
interesting
know he's
is
good, but
there.
yeah.
I think he's Chilean, and one thing I noticed after the Chilean regional, yeah, I was like, I did not realize all these like cracked Latam battlers were from Chile, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Well, he's from Peru
obviously they're gonna be.
specifically,
Is it Peru?
Jerson. Well, at least on his Silph card, but maybe it's not updated. I don't know. Maybe he might
Is
have
is that
moved.
Peru or Chile? Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's
Peru,
Peru.
Peru.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
You're right.
I didn't know if I
I
based
got
on
it
flag.
wrong.
I just hovered my
No, no,
mouse
no, no,
over
no.
it and
You're
said,
right. You're
yeah,
right. I
yeah.
got it wrong. I got it
No,
wrong.
no, yeah. I don't. I'm just saying. I
Um,
just didn't recognize the flag. I had to hover my mouse.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
that educated.
yeah. But yeah. So well, there you go, Peru. My
Yeah,
bad. Apologies, Jess.
that's okay. Yeah.
So we have three players from each of the regions going through, but then there are four more slots, and
Hmm.
the remaining four slots go to one, the reigning world champion. Two is the winner of the Argentinian Battle Tower.
Yeah.
And then the last two slots are the highest placing players on the Silph leaderboard who haven't qualified yet. So,
Yeah.
funnily enough, it actually evened out into one player from each region, which is kind of cool. So we had Vroom from APAC, who's the reigning world champion,
Uh huh.
Ventuski, who is the winner of the Battle Tower
Hmm.
from LATAM, Jay's fan, who's top of the Silph leaderboard, and who also came fourth in his
Yeah.
tournament, I believe. So
Close.
he
Yeah.
at least got the qualification. And then C. Leonardo from Europe, although that was what it was initially, because C. Leonardo and Astrocelto had basically the same like elo or whatever, and
Yeah.
C. Leonardo was second, Astrocelto was third. So C. Leonardo had initially got the last qualification spot, and then they did recalcs,
Oh
and
man.
Silph went above. And
I
bruv,
was
I
like,
think
was this like maybe they tied in as like alphabetical order or
yeah,
what?
no,
Yeah.
no, they did like
Oh,
recounts
that's
and like
heartbreaking.
just yeah, and also it's like Celio didn't even do that bad in the Continentals. I think he went probably like something like 5-2 or something like that. It was like
Yeah.
it was not too. I think he got 5 points
Five
where
two.
like
Yeah.
Aspercelto got 6 or something like that. So
Yeah.
um,
That's tough.
yeah, man, that is
See, Leo also plays on a
rip.
Latin faction, right? Does he play for
Yeah, so he plays
Infinity?
for Infinity Go White.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's that
yeah, yeah,
about?
yeah.
Maybe he's just friends with them, or they just recruit him.
Well, honestly, Infinity Go, bro.
They
I
recruit
want
some
you know what
people. They
I
got
need to.
Jace fan, to play for them
Bruv,
for
yeah,
Worlds,
I need to
right?
ask Varney this, like, actually, yeah, because I'm not gonna lie, yeah, they are the most un-Latam faction in all of Latam. Bruv, they're just Spanish, with like
Yeah.
some sprinkles of EU, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Well,
another
what?
conversation.
Hey, Hidden Power is also all over the place too.
Yeah, so we
I'm
we
just saying.
are
I'm just saying. You can't be one to judge, right?
yeah, actually, let me tell you, yeah,
Because I was looking at
we
Hidden Power, I was
are
like, what is this?
we are 75%, possibly 80% London based. We're more London than
Well,
London's
base
finest.
base
Yeah,
is like
so
kind of like, I mean, you're technically in Australia. Base
London
is like,
origin,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
London.
Okay.
Hey, we're
London
more
origin.
London
Yeah,
than London's
yeah. You
finest.
do you do have the UK flag on your thing.
We do have the
Yeah.
UK flag. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But yeah,
That's fair.
there was no need to bring,
I'm
bring
just saying. I'm just throwing out there. Maybe we
this.
can't judge. Picking up players from other. I mean,
Yeah,
we got most NA, but we did pick up one of our best players from Japan.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like I've generally been curious about that because like both the Infinity Go teams are like relatively Spanish, but
yeah,
maybe they've got some Latam link. I don't know in it, but obviously there's no rules against it, so it's what it is.
yeah. But Deep Khan was
Um.
like the most egregious on that one. When he ran Team Guki, he had like
Oh
the
yeah,
team was based in
yeah.
EU, even though
That's
he's the
just an
captain from
American.
NA,
Bro,
but he
I
just did
also
it
don't know
to
what
like
was.
have like a good like time zone for everyone because he had like Yesterday
Okay,
Son in
that's nice.
Japan, he had a bunch of people in EU, he
Yeah,
had like
yeah, true, true,
Creaser
true.
from Arizona, like it was all over the
Uh,
place. Yeah.
that was a strange team because also, you know what? A lot of the time, like a majority of the teams are basically like a majority of the players are going to be based in, in the region or at least the
Yeah.
country. You know what I mean? And so
Some
yeah,
really try to
that's slightly
stick to
strange.
like a specific state or something. Like Chicago Stars, like they're like
Yeah,
pick up people from like
Chicago.
Chicago, right? Like when Beach left him, I remember, and shout out again to BurnoBus, but BurnoBus was like they were like struggling to find people to recruit, but he was like sticking hard to like the Chicago brand. He's like,
I
yeah,
rate that.
man, they don't
I
really
rate
grow
that.
beach on trees,
That's
like it's hard to find a player like
sick.
Beach, right? Beach obviously came back to them,
Uh,
but it's hard to
uh,
find a player like that in Chicago, right? I know, dude. No hate on our my friend Dre Flames, right, from Captain of SoCal Swabblers, but he definitely stepping a little outside the SoCal
outside the
area to
borders, yeah.
for his team. For his feeder teams, they stick into the region, but for his own team, he's kind of
Uh,
making exceptions. Like, I'm gonna guess quads from Texas and flying pizza from like I don't know, flying pizza from Arizona or something. He's flying pizza from somewhere, but
uh,
that's not California, right? He'd be kind of stretching. I think he had someone from Latam once on his team. It's like
hey, that's
SoCal Swabble. You're more like global
yeah,
Swabble, but
yeah. I mean, yeah,
we gotta do what we gotta do, I
uh,
guess.
yeah. This
To
is you know what? This is what the sport has become. Yeah,
yeah.
like players getting paid too much money these days to,
Oh, that's a
like,
not topic on a
you know what?
different realm.
Honestly, I was actually just referencing football whenever
Oh,
you
okay,
brought
okay.
it up,
I
not
thought you're
me.
hitting at something else. I mean,
No,
yeah.
future episode.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so yeah, that was the majority of the Silph stuff, and like, and it's all coming to a close this weekend. So
Yep. This
2 weeks
Saturday.
before Play Pokemon Worlds,
Hmm.
and that's it for Silph.
Yeah, that's
That is
yeah.
it for Silph.
Saturday for Silph Solo, 10
Mhm.
a.m. Eastern. If you want to tune in, I think it's going to be on Silph Arena's Twitch. So if you want to tune into some
Yeah,
grassroots action, definitely check that
I
out. And
wonder
then
what
for the factions, I think
I,
it's going to be aired on PvP Steve's channel or something, if I'm not
yeah,
mistaken.
something weird like that. Yeah, but the
Yeah,
thing is with the solo Silph as well, it's like it's 5 o'clock UK time that it starts, right? If I
yeah.
remember correctly.
It's 10 a.m.
And
my
that
time. Yeah,
means, yeah, so that's like I say, Inner Bloom's Australian, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah,
Now I know this guy's nocturnal anyway, so it probably
yeah,
doesn't matter too much to him. But it's
yeah.
like that's an extreme time, shift,
Well,
So
Ruben Powell last year when he went all the way to the grand finals, it was like 3 a.m. for him,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So yeah, he was awake. Yeah.
It's
Actually,
a difficult thing
fun
to
fact, I'll be
approach.
commentating that one too. So
Oh,
I'll
okay.
be one of the commentators. I don't know if they announced it or not, but I mean, they got no NDA on me.
I don't think they have. I'm not gonna
PPC
lie.
can send me some hate mail if he's mad about this. Yeah, but it might be announced when the episode gets dropped. But yeah, I'll be one of the
Sure, no
commentators, so
problem.
it'll be fun to see.
Sick.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, that will be the end of Silph. And honestly, like obviously Silph has been amazing, but um, like it's been the pillar for a while. And sometimes, when that's not there anymore, it affords more creativity. So
Hmm.
I'm just interested to see what everyone's going to come up with, once we hit September. Um, you can do whatever you want, like you can explore
Hmm.
different avenues, you can put on different formats, different kind of tournaments. I know some people are already trying to organize some like team formats
Yeah.
um, pretty early on. So I'm excited. I think it's going to breathe new life into the game, at least the
Yeah,
grassroots scene.
definitely. I think I was talking to someone from Zygarde, one of
Yeah,
the groups that are trying to do some more grassroots stuff, and they said like, oh, we're gonna try to host some like solo metas, kind of like grassroots solo stuff. And my
sick.
question was
Yeah,
really just like, and it'll actually be on a future episode, so you can
yeah.
hear it. We just pre-recorded it, but
Okay.
I was just like, how do you get people to play that, right? Team formats make sense because it's like there's nothing you can
Yeah,
replicate it with TBCI, but like,
yeah.
but the thing is, I mean, if we're going to be real, before Silph announced that they're shutting down, the participation in solo Silph was
It
already
was
dropping
waning. Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick,
yeah.
right?
It's
Like they were
true.
like, I
Yeah,
used to do 7 round tournaments, like I could barely find a 5 round tournament, right? But I didn't really
yeah.
care that much. I was like, whatever, I'll just do it. But like the participation was already dropping down, and I get it, right? Because
Mm,
well, one, a lot of people doing factions. That's already a lot of time every week. But also on
yeah,
top of that, you're prepping for the individual TPCI stuff. Like, what's the glory of
yeah.
doing the grassroots solo stuff at that point? Like the
I
team
think you
formats
really
don't make
have to
sense.
hit some sort of niche,
Yeah, yeah. And
like,
so
and
I
you know what? This
asked that, and
again,
they're
this
like,
is
yeah,
why
we're trying
it's
to work
good.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is why it's good that there. It's like again, not good that Silph is closed, but this is why it's good that there's like more opportunity because you can be creative. Me personally, like I've got some like plans for. I want to. I've got some plans to do some stuff.
Mhm.
Don't want to expand, but it's like Asian based stuff. But I'm looking at like other games and other sports and other things like that where I'm like, what do they do? And is it something that we can translate into Pokemon? And,
Mhm.
as a result, is it going to be something that people are excited about? And bruv, there's so many different things out there that we can translate into our game. Like we
Uh-huh.
don't have to stick to the same formula just because it's been there.
Right.
So I think, yeah, there's a lot of space for innovation. I think we should innovate.
Mhm. Yeah. I think so
Um,
too.
yeah, man.
Yo, that was a great recap too. For those that don't know
Yeah,
Silph,
indeed,
hopefully
man.
you know a lot of Silph leading up to these worlds finals for both solo Silph and team formats. I mean, it's definitely good content
Yeah.
to tune into. And like I said, I have a lot going on in my personal life, so I haven't gotten around to it yet. But I will be doing recaps of all the King of the Hill bouts that my team has
Oh,
gone through.
yeah.
There's a lot of footage. We'll just say that, right?
Yeah, that
I
sounds
might
kind
be
of
doing some
intense. I can't
editing
lie.
in
Yeah.
Japan. Let's just say if the backdrop doesn't
Yeah.
have my cats and just like a small hotel room in Japan, like that's why, right? But the hardest part is getting my teammates to upload the footage. I'm like, yo, who's got this footage somewhere, right? Polly cracked me up, man. He was like, yeah, I uploaded these 3 sets of battles, right? And I'm like, my guy, there's only 2 battles in here. Like, how could you say you uploaded 3 and then like, he's like this sometimes when he scrims or battles. He's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'll send, and he just doesn't send, and then he's
Yeah,
like still
he
like
does
picking
that
out his
keyboard
line.
thing where it's like typing, yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
he
like,
doesn't press
oh,
enter. I'm like,
it's
yo,
about
you
to,
better be
yeah.
dropping a book here, right? Like you've been typing for a
You know what I
while.
mean?
Back when we used to play a lot of Pokemon Unite together late at night, he'd be falling asleep like in voice chat. His name would sit in voice chat all night, right? And then he'd leave quietly in the morning and hope that we didn't see. I'm like, dude, I was streaming last night and I could literally hear you
It's a
snoring
good
on
2, 3
stream.
hours.
Yeah, you could literally hear it, man. Yeah, I
Oh,
caught him
days.
actually in a Pokemon Unite game, sleepwalking in game. Like he was playing the game. He's playing the game because his setup is he's at home on his couch, right? Playing
Uh,
on the mobile version. He's laying down
uh,
playing. And I literally see his Lucario just walk into a wall and like just keep drifting, right? Like as if like you just like accidentally held a joystick down, like on accident, it just keeps moving and you like got it stuck, right? And I was like, Polly, I was like, what are you doing? I'm like he's like just in my jungle, like doing stuff. I was like, he's like leaving his lane. I was like, Polly, what are you doing right now? Like, you good? He's like, huh? right? Like I can't see his face, but I can literally hear him like, wait, huh? I'm like, he's like, yeah. I'm like, you asleep? Like, what's going on? You fall asleep on me? He's like, huh? I'm like, oh no. I think I have like a clip of it somewhere. It's hilarious, right,
Oh
dude?
my
It's
days.
so funny. I was like, dude, oh man, I get it's late. Like, look, I need you to
That's
make it
next
through
level
another 6
gaming.
minutes of this game and you can go sleep, right? I need you for 6 more minutes. Please stay with me, right?
Oh
But
my days.
yeah,
Man said
so
playing in his sleep, you know. That is
yep.
Pokemon sleep right there. That is
Dude,
that is what the game
dude,
should have
if he
been, bro.
bought Pokemon Sleep, like he has the app, he
Hey,
probably doesn't want to play
champion.
that game. It's going to really show how bad the sleep is. Yeah,
Yeah, man.
but
Oh yeah,
yeah,
not champion even.
yeah, me as well too. That's why I haven't gotten the app. All right, we talked a lot about Silph. Let's just dive into the
Yeah.
tea topic too, because this is something kind of relevant.
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw the graphic
Zygrade.
on this. Yeah, I'm not going to throw the graphic on the screen here because it's a tweet from a spoofer that I saw on my Twitter. Right, I don't follow them, but I saw it because a lot of people were engaging with it. But the spoofer, because so Zygarde was released, and let's just say Zygarde are just broken at the moment for at least on a rank level, right? Because let's take a look on the Great League ratings.
I
Does it show Zygarde at the moment? Oh yeah, they don't have the complete form Zygarde. I don't know why actually.
okay.
But complete form Zygarde I think is like sim to be like in the top 5 or something in Great League. It's got more bulk. It has more HP than a Lickitung, which is
That is wild.
it's crazy to me because I'm thinking, all right, it's like Carpink, right? Like, they're good in Great League, right? Carpink's number 1, Zygarde might be number 2, number 3. It's got bulk like Lickitung. Makes sense, right?
Just a little example of the tweet. I don't
Yeah,
know if
yeah,
that
don't, yeah. For
translates
YouTubers,
well.
don't give this guy engagement, right? Yeah. But for YouTube audience, you
Oh
can
yeah,
see who.
sure,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
that's fine. It's not a big deal. But I'm like, all right, Zygarde, how could it be? And because I really didn't really play the main series games, I don't even know what this
Yeah,
thing is, right? The first time I heard Zygarde was when that Zygarden project was first named Zygarde. That's like first
yeah.
time I heard of it, right? But then but then Ultra League, I'm like, it can't be as good, right? Like it just doesn't hit 2,500 or something like that. Number 2 in the rankings, right? In the complete form. Like, what the heck? I'm like, wait, how's that possible, right? Only behind Registeel, right? Just nuts, right? It's dragon ground typing, and it's got the moveset. It's got Dragon Tail, Bite, Zen Headbutt, and you got Crunch, Outrage, Earthquake, Bulldoze, Hyper Beam. You're probably just running Crunch, Earthquake with
Already
Dragon
crunch
Tail.
earthquake.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
which is like not the best moveset. I mean, Earthquake takes a while to
But
get to,
bro,
but dude,
yeah.
it's doing work.
I mean, you
Right?
see
So
that moveset on a Steelix, right? And obviously Steelix
yeah,
is relatively bulky.
and you just
Like,
use Psychic Fang sometimes.
you
You're not
know,
even using Earthquake
yeah.
anymore. But like, yeah, this thing is kind of crazy good. Um, so I'm like, okay, well, it's good. All right, maybe it's good in Ultra League and Great League, but it can't be good in Master League too, right? Like it's like a Registeel, right? Good in Great League and Ultra League. Dude, and Master League is number 1 in the rankings. I was just like, how does the stat product transcend all 3 leagues so easily? Like you're like,
Bro,
oh, good product there,
yeah.
maybe XL version of Ultra League, and it just like doesn't even hit like 3,000 CP in Master League. But no, this thing hits like, let's see what it hits. It hits
It's got less CP than
4,200
God.
CP.
It's got
Yeah,
less CP than Garchomp, but it's just like it's all in bulk.
dude,
So it's
crazy.
just absolutely like tearing.
Yeah,
Or
that
it's
is
not tearing, it's just staying,
nuts.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
let's take a look. Garchomp, yeah, it's got about 200 less CP than Garchomp,
Because
but
obviously they're the same typing as well. So,
Same exact
yeah.
typing, yeah. You arguably had a better moveset on Garchomp.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
but yeah, it's Garchomp wins like the ones, but just loses all the other scenarios because you
Yeah.
just get outbulked. But yeah, Garchomp has a ton more attack, but Zygarde has about 10 more, about 12 more in defense, and
Mm.
then over 120 something in HP in stamina.
That
It's
is
crazy.
wild, bro.
Yeah,
That is
its
wild.
stat point is in the 10,000 something.
120.
It's crazy.
Yo.
It's
Yeah,
absolutely
that is
nuts. It
mad.
has over 100 something more health than Lugia, right? Lugia is mostly defense weighted, but
Mad.
still,
Yeah.
that's just wild to me. Yeah, it's something else. I mean, it doesn't have more health than Blissey.
Yeah.
That'd be just too stupid broken. But yeah. So Zygarde, especially the complete form, is gonna be really good. So don't
Mm.
power it up, right? Because you want the
Yeah.
complete form for Great League as well when it's trade eligible. It's not trade eligible now, but it's legendary, so
Yeah.
maybe you can re-roll it. But if you have
So
a good
yeah, this
idea,
is the thing for the audience. Yeah,
Mhm.
like there's a stressed on this Zygarde that you just got. Don't even power it up because again, like it's in the current form, that's not the form you want. Yeah, you want like the complete form. You're going to need to trade it. You don't want to risk it getting above 1500 once it goes to the complete form. And then also, you don't know when you're going to get another level 15 Zygarde.
Mm-hmm.
Like
You
you
never
don't know.
know.
They'll may come in raids, be level 20, be a bit too high. So
True. I didn't even think
don't
about
even
that.
power it up. Yeah,
Oh,
this is
dude,
the
you're
thing.
right. Yeah, the raids.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying, man. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
raids will be fine for Ultra League, like Master League. You got an endless supply, but that one Great League Zygarde,
All right.
yeah,
I
man.
got hacked for the loyal listeners. I wasn't going to share this originally. I was
Go on, go
talking
on,
to
go
Anico about this before we went live,
on.
but I was like, you know what? Y'all, we're 2 hours in this podcast. If you stayed this long, you deserve
Yeah.
this pro tip from Caleb, right? Which maybe you already
Uh,
thought of. It's not like that genius, but GoFest coming up, right? Last year GoFest we had like 5 special trades a day, right? GoFest coming up right now. Yo, if Zygarde can be traded by GoFest, right? Whichever GoFest you're going to, maybe all of them, yo, ask people for their Zygarde. And
yeah,
that's the
bro.
thing. Yo, some of these people, they don't know better, right? People were trading their low 15 Buzzle last year. And the Buzzle wasn't in raids, so it was their only Buzzle, right? But
Bro, don't
you know, there's like
don't
this
give it a
10-year-old with a
scamming inflection on it.
yeah.
Like,
I'm whispering, right? I'm whispering. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a is it a scam? I
like
can't
that
say.
shady guy
Dude,
in the
no.
back
Right.
alley, like,
This is
hey,
the
hey,
Caleb strategy,
hey,
right?
kids.
You make a bet, right, with someone. You make an agreement with someone, right? It might seem really bad for them, but they're agreeing to it, and for them, it might not seem that bad, right? So my, speech like hot chip or perm, like they both seem kind of bad. Yeah, Caleb likes his hair a lot. The perm seems bad, right? And you're like, yeah, yeah, I really do want my Shadow Charizard, but I will give it to you for the Zygarde, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
I
running me
really
dry
like
here,
my Shadow
like,
Meganium, but or
uh,
sorry, not my Shadow, my Shiny Meganium, but yeah, okay, I'll give it to you. Shiny form versus a green non-shiny form, right? Like,
see,
some of
this
these
is
kids they
also
might not care about their
a
Zygarde.
yeah. Anyone, if Caleb comes up to you in GoFest, yeah, just say no. Yeah, walk away and say no, innit? Yeah,
No.
don't entertain this.
The real ones listen to podcasts. They know not to give me the Zygarde. The ones that don't listen to podcasts, man, you missed out, right? You
Yeah,
got
true, true.
bamboozled. You fell straight into the trap, right? The honeycomb. But okay, so the T topic though is really how do you get a Zygarde complete? And you need to do these routes, right? And if you look at like the nearby thing, like on the 3rd tab now, there's like a routes thing, especially one. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's there before you get your Zygarde, but I know it's definitely there after I got my Zygarde. Maybe it was there before. But you need to do these routes, and I don't know. Are there any routes near you? Because there's literally none.
Nah,
I haven't
man.
seen a single one.
Nah.
Right. So there's some
Admittedly,
routes.
I haven't been like looking too much, but in my immediate
Same.
area,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Maybe it's like there'd be trails because I'm in like a city biome.
Well, I
So
think from what I understand, you can like, people have to submit the routes first.
yeah,
And so obviously you're kind of like betting on that. But also some people are saying that they're not even able to submit a route. So I
I
haven't
couldn't
tried.
submit one. Yeah. I think
Okay,
only certain
so
people are
I
selected
don't
to.
know.
Maybe they're like big
Right.
Wayfarer people. I don't
Because I
know.
know like I've seen the only person I've seen who said they submitted one was Penchu. Um,
Yeah.
and they were like they submitted it and it was successful and all that sort of stuff. But I don't know what the process is to submit routes. So
I wonder if Pentru maybe has done a lot of Wayfarer like submissions in
that's
the
a
past,
possibility. That's a
and that might be
possibility.
why.
Yeah,
Yeah, and that might be other people because
yeah,
I haven't done a ton. I've done like 50. Yeah,
yeah.
so
I've done like zero.
yeah. So we're definitely not in there. But anyway,
Yeah,
so but this flagged my attention because no one has a Zygarde complete yet to my knowledge, right? Because you have
yeah.
to like go on these routes, right? Walk along it, and at the end of the route, there's a chance you get like a Zygarde cell. And once
Yeah.
you come, dude, I don't know how many you collect. Do you have to collect 100 for the 100%? Maybe that's what it is, dude.
I
That's a
have no idea.
lot.
I have no
A
idea,
lot
but
of cells. I mean, the
probably
one
to be
we have
honest,
right now is what 10%. Maybe we only need to get
yeah,
90, but
yeah,
even
yeah,
90
yeah,
is a lot, right? I mean,
yeah,
I'll be walking around a lot of Japan, but like, hopefully they got some routes there because I need some of these cells.
yeah.
But
Oh, do you know what? I reckon if there's gonna be routes anyway, yeah, bruv,
Japan, yeah,
Japan, you're probably gonna have
hopefully.
four on top of each other. Like
Hopefully,
it's
I need 10 on top of each other. This feels like
yeah,
you've seen Dragon Ball Z, right? The Cell Saga.
yeah, yeah,
There's like
yeah,
cells like slowly evolving, right? You got the base form, and it's like the complete form is where it
yeah.
gets like super overpowered. Like I'm like trying to get
Yeah,
Cell
man. You know what?
jacked up.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, innit? Yeah, but bruv,
Is
does
that like a
Zygarde
ripoff?
look like Cell? No,
No
bro,
way. Wait.
bro, look, he's got the wings. like the complete form, yeah,
Wait,
he
let me
looks
look at all
like
the forms, like, in tandem. Alright, so the first one's like a dog, right? It looks like some
yeah.
type of
So
canine. Oh,
that's not
wait,
really
wait. If you look at the very start, the core form too, it's like a little, like, cell, right? It's like a little just like a cell.
yeah.
Then it's like a dog, then it's like a little, like, snake cobra thing, and then it looks like straight up like a
Perfect cell.
Gundam, like a transformer almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bipedal though, for sure. It
Yeah.
kinda
And the
does,
wings and
actually,
everything. Yeah,
wait.
man.
Zygarde, maybe Zygarde versus Dragon Ball Z
Zygarde versus
Cell,
cell.
right? Dude, I guarantee that
Is there a
someone's
picture?
had made this comparison. Uh, yeah, the final cell form
Yeah.
looks a lot like,
Bro.
yo,
Death battle.
there's some plagiarism here, I think. I mean, the
Yeah.
idea itself is already kind of like,
Oh, there's a whole YouTube video on it as well.
oh my gosh, I might need to check that
Yeah.
out
Oh, there
after.
you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, like, the 10%, the 50% form don't really look like the respective forms of Cell,
Yeah.
but that final form, kinda
Yeah, yeah,
spot
man.
on. Yeah, I mean, maybe they were, I don't
Yeah.
know, it's wild. But anyway, that Zygarde Complete is, definitely something that to look out for, especially for next
Mhm.
season play Pokemon, I'm sure. I don't
Yeah.
know when they might, if they'll ban it or whatever, but eventually it can't be banned forever, is my guess, right?
Yeah.
Ain't no, like, Lampert. But
I
anyway,
mean, how good will it be doing in a Carbink steel mail is
dude, you land an Earthquake
difficult. Oh yeah, true that. Yeah,
on
you got to play
Carbink,
it.
right? Like,
Yeah.
you're throwing rock, though, it's
Yeah.
resisted.
That's
You
true.
If you
That's
don't land a
true.
Moonblast, it takes forever to get Moonblast, right?
Yeah. You probably live the Moonblast as well, maybe even two.
Actually, you know
Yeah. With that
what?
much help, you know.
I can we let's sim this actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Carbink, I'll do a rank 1 Carbink and a Zygarde Complete, right?
Yeah.
Just do, like, let's just say someone has a rank 1 somehow, right? Let's just say
Yeah,
hypothetically,
yeah,
right? Hypothetically. You only win the 2 shield scenario, and I assume that's
yeah.
because
Okay.
you land rock slide baits. Let's say if neither are baiting, you still only win the 2 shield scenario. You win the ones and
Okay.
you lose the 0. And dude, it's so look at the 0 shield scenario is wild. You don't live you live the Moonblast, but you don't live the
Mhm.
ensuing rock throws. But it takes
Okay.
2 full earthquakes to take out the card bank.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a wild situation. Yeah.
That's
Oh, no, sorry. I'm mistaken. You do live the Moonblast, and the reason why you don't get the second Moonblast is because you get taken out by the earthquake. So yeah, it's not like the rock throws is not enough. It's just that you
Yeah.
don't get to the second Moonblast at the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That is
Yeah,
mad.
that's wild. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
a
so
long match.
Zygarde wins the zeros and ones
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, just
That's
loses the
wild.
twos. Mad.
A
There you
dragon
go.
into a fairy. You're doing double
Into
resisted
the
damage.
bulkiest fairy. The
Yeah,
most
yeah, that's
brokenest
true.
fairy. Like that is
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's something
But do you
else.
know what? I'm not gonna lie in it. Yeah, like I kind of welcome a new viable legendary in Great League. Personally, I kind of obviously I'd like it to be more accessible, but I don't know. I kind of
Well,
support
yeah. So that comes
Great
to our T
League.
topic, right? Because you're saying
Yeah.
viable, right? Is it
Well,
viable
yeah,
right now? I don't think so. So anyway,
yeah,
this
true,
spoofer,
true.
essentially, this is the topic here, right? We got all these routes. Niantic wants to explore. I mean, I don't hate it, right? Again, I think it's an accessibility issue because routes are not easily found. We had an event where you had like 2 days to like get extra like buddy hearts if you got routes. Dude, I didn't find a single route. I can't even do it. The event's over. It
Bro,
was like 2-3 days. I was
literally.
like, who's going to explore these routes in time, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, this spoofer, right? And I was reading their threads. So I'm trying to see like what they're doing, right? Person says, I did 100 routes and got a bunch of rare candies, 3 elite fast TMs, and at least 1 rare candy XL. These are some pretty good rewards, right? Yeah, rare candy XL,
Bro,
elite TMs, those are like the premium of premiums, right? And regular rare candies, like whatever, but like still, right? You
nothing
convert
gives
100.
elite TMs as well.
Yeah, dude, the fact that you
Like
get
really,
elite
in it.
TMs, you get elite TMs from routes, and this person did 100. 100 is a lot, right? If you actually physically did it.
Yeah,
So the drop rate's not super high, but dude, Niantic, these spoofers are doing it, man. And to answer like one of the previous
yeah,
questions from the comments, like, yeah, I mean, spoofing is still alive, slightly alive. Well, I mean, they're banning some people, but clearly not everyone. But they have a way,
yeah.
and these spoofers apparently, I was reading through this guy's thread. He could just start from like point A to and just run to point Z. There's no time limit. Like you don't get the rewards from route unless it seems like you're really running it. You finish this whole like 300-mile route. in like a minute, you still get the
That's
rewards, right? I
ridiculous.
mean, none of them are
Okay, you
300
know
miles,
what?
right? But yeah.
That's ridiculous on the point of like, okay, I understand like, spoofers are always like being careful in terms of like, oh, I can't be in this place or this place because
Uh-huh.
otherwise they're gonna know, yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's just running 300 kilometers in 5 seconds, and you're
Dude.
telling me they didn't know,
Yeah, there's
like, bro.
dude, I don't know. I don't know what their detection is, but look, the
Yes,
rewards are
obviously not.
nice. They're rare, but they're
Yeah,
nice. But it's just like that's going to be super annoying, right? If you face a
yeah,
Zygarde in Great League, Ultra League, or Master League when it's like only been out for a little bit. I mean, in
exactly.
my
Yeah,
opinion, that's like way more egregious than the whole like defit rocking thing. I don't know. I guess like
yeah,
I mean it's like a fine line, right? Like what you count as cheating. Like it's like I think like that spoofing seems like the worst of worst offenses. I mean it's bannable by Niantic's. Defit and
yeah,
rocking is not. So in some ways you can make the argument that it's not as bad. But yeah, you can't get a Zygarde complete by just rocking your phone or whatever or defitting. So if you ever face one, you're just battling a spoofer in GBL, right? There's no
yeah.
way it's not,
Yeah,
right?
true
I
that.
mean, just
Yeah,
oh dude, like honestly,
yeah.
it's gonna be so sus. Imagine if like next season, like in September, someone has a Zygarde complete at a play Pokemon tournament. Dude, what do you do?
Because you know what, like, I
Like
didn't even
what, dude?
realize, yeah, but like
Commentary wise,
there
I can't
was
be like,
that,
yo, this is a swoofer, right? How many? This guy
yeah,
must be running up
yeah.
routes up and down the street, right? Yeah,
Yeah, you're
yeah,
gonna have to go into how great it is, like,
yeah. I mean, I
oh,
don't
the
know. Maybe by
recently
then it's
released
feasible,
Pokemon,
but I don't know. Right now,
yeah.
no one has it.
But
Yeah.
it was interesting where there was that one regional and someone had a Sneasler, and like it didn't really like
Yes, it was hard for
strike in my
hard for
mind, and I was
regional.
like,
Yeah,
yeah, and I
yeah,
was like, oh wait, like not really supposed to have that one, is it?
yeah. Butters has one too, actually.
Oh, really? Oh, well, now
Yeah.
they've appeared in the wild,
Well,
so
no. He had
that's
one early on, like first
oh,
week. Yeah,
okay. So you're
yeah.
really
But
just dropping him in it, yeah?
well, no, I know.
You're not
So
gonna
so so
cover him.
he did it legitimately, right? So let me tell. Well, let me
Okay,
ask you if you think it's legitimate. His wife, his now wife, back
yeah,
then it was his girlfriend
yeah,
or fiance, downloaded the game. She didn't have an account
yeah,
before. She made a new account. He made her play it. He made her hatch some
yeah,
eggs. He made her trade it to him, and she didn't get right. She was like,
yeah.
held against
I
her
think
will.
that's
She did
fine.
it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then she hasn't touched the game since.
Held against their will.
No, it wasn't like that, right? Yeah, I can say he made her, right? He didn't make her make it. He just asked her to, and
Yeah,
she did it, right? They just went on walk together. She
yeah,
had some eggs. She traded him some
yeah,
Hisuian Sneasels. They were under because she was like level 5
yeah,
or whatever it was,
yeah,
and she hasn't touched the game since after hatching those.
yeah.
But
I mean,
technically, it was
personally,
her
I think that's
account,
fine.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I
it was
mean, I'm
someone
saying
else.
this, but like, I personally also don't think that there's much of a problem with that anyway. And it's mainly because I'm of the opinion where it's like, you shouldn't make these mons inaccessible.
Yeah,
Like we shouldn't have
I
a
agree.
problem with getting level 15 legendaries, that we only get one of, and we can't. We should have the option. We should
Hmm.
have either level scaling or like, release them a bit more frequently. And like, yeah, they've done a decent work with like the Reggies and stuff like that
Right,
recently, but bro, something like the Zygarde, yeah, like
Zygarde.
that's
Yeah,
just what can you do? What can you do?
I don't know.
You can't do
Hopefully,
nothing.
hopefully the cells start dropping more. Look, we already know people from Niantic listen to this podcast from time to time.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're
yeah,
still listening at 2 hour 20-minute mark, but who knows?
that
Maybe
is a new one, isn't
traffic in
it?
San Francisco could be bad, right? They might be on the
Yeah,
highway.
bro.
They might be working remotely and
Yeah.
driving somewhere else. I don't know, right? Maybe they're in the
Downloaded
shower.
this podcast on the way to Worlds.
Yeah, on the way to
Giving them
Worlds, right?
ideas,
Some people from
yeah,
Niantic, some people from TBCI. But
yeah,
anyway, yo, make these cells easier to acquire, please, because
yeah,
we don't want like, dude, that's gonna be just. I mean, Zygarde is already gonna be pretty like nasty, but in general,
yeah.
but at least everyone will have one, right? Just like Carbink, right? Carbink,
Mm.
I like that's banned for this season, right? And then
Yeah,
after
yeah,
Go
yeah, yeah,
Fest, it's
definitely,
way more
yeah.
accessible.
And that
It's
makes
not so
sense
bad.
in it, yeah.
Yeah,
And I
definitely
think
so.
you know what it comes down to. Like, obviously, I think this is probably something that, like, Michael probably mentioned in the podcast, where it was just like, you don't want to make things like too abundant because they won't be special anymore.
Yeah.
But then I think there's definitely there's like a certain level of that. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? In it, yeah. And like just having the one, and it's not even. And I think because our approach is different, right? We want to use it for battling. We want to get like good stats.
Hmm.
So it's not like we get the one and we're like, this is our prized possession. It's like we've got the one and we're like, well, now how can we even get like a a better version? Do you know what I mean? It's not like having a shiny version of a Pokemon. It's just like, well,
right.
now I'm screwed.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
It's
increase accessibility, please.
yes,
Please.
yes, definitely something that's much needed. So we'll see how that goes. But we've been going on for quite a while, and if you're
Yeah,
still
man.
with us, let us know, right? Maybe they should write something in a comment below. Maybe they should say
A disclaimer.
yeah, no, maybe they should say uh write down the school trappers the MVP, right? Write that Squirrel Trappers the MVP in the comments if you made it this far, right, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna be confused, right?
Yeah,
But
but we'll
that's
know.
because they
Yeah,
didn't listen to the whole
yeah,
episode,
yeah.
right? Squirrel Traps
Yeah,
they will get it.
this is the secret scam little kids out of Zygarde club.
Yeah,
There's like
dude, you know what
the
would be
only
even
people who got
funnier?
this far.
Squirrel Trapper. I don't know if Squirrel Trapper listens to every episode down to the minute. But what if they're just dropping another hate comment and they're about to comment and they say Squirrel Traverse the MVP in every comment? And they're gonna be so confused. I'm like, what? I need to listen to see why they're talking about me and why they're talking nicely about me for once.
Bro,
And then
amazing.
surprise, Squirrel Trapper, 2 minutes and 24
Yeah.
minutes, 2 hours, 24 minutes in, and you got
You thought.
bamboozled.
You
You thought,
thought.
yeah. This is the ultimate
Oh,
bamboozle.
yeah, man.
I'm a genius sometimes, I gotta
Oh,
say.
bro, there
Ain't
you
gonna be
go.
modest about it. I definitely
Yeah.
should write some reality TV shows, but we'll see. Anyone in Hollywood, let me know. I already live in Hollywood. Just shoot me the audition, right? Let me know what
Yeah.
script you need. I got you. But yeah, anyway, thank you for honestly taking the time. It's I mean we chatted for a while, but it flew on by,
Yeah.
right? And
As
I really
well.
appreciate
Yeah,
you taking the
yeah,
time to help film for Speedy. He's been having a busy week, so we had to do it without him. But appreciate you and all the
yeah. Yeah,
recaps and
man.
stuff, and also all the Dracoviz stuff. So, but yeah, where can people find you? Because you do a lot outside of just hopping on and filling for an episode.
Yeah, yeah. So to be honest, yeah, just follow Dracoviz on Twitter. Check out our website. We're trying to get some stuff done before Worlds as well.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we're going to have some updates that are like useful for world competitors beforehand. Other than that, honestly, I don't know. I'm all over the place, innit? Like, going to be in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
That should be fun. Hopefully going to be at Barcelona regional because I'm going to have to go back to London for a bit after Japan.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah,
You're
that'll be
competing?
cool. Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I'm not gonna lie in it. Yeah, like recently, I haven't been on form. Yeah, and like I love competing. You know what the thing is? Yeah, as
Yeah.
you can tell by how long this podcast has gone on for. Yeah, I love to talk. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love to talk.
But
Yeah,
you
but
consume the content too. You know what you're
yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you. But
Yeah.
the thing is that like I was just like, you know what? I could probably apply for caster. Yeah, but I feel like
Yo, why
I
not?
want to compete. I want to compete. This is the thing,
Oh.
The
Oh,
thing
I
that got
see. I
me
see.
into the game was competing. Do you know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
Like I don't want to give up on potentially becoming the best. I still have hope for myself.
I've given up on that dream already.
The hope is what keeps me going. But
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I haven't been on form recently. And honestly, the kind of prep that I'd want to put in for Barca is not too viable because I'm going to be like on holiday in Japan. So like I don't really
Mm.
want to be like prepping for
When
a
is
regional.
Barcelona? It's in September.
16th of September. Yeah, yeah, and
Oh,
it's a
that's
special
quick.
event, so it's free as well. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That part's a bit unfortunate, but I already know of some Americans coming.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be kind of
Dude.
cool,
I mean, I've never
and
been to
it should.
Barcelona, so I would love to go.
Hey, maybe you should look into it.
Dude.
Yeah, and also actually, one thing, and I don't know,
I mean,
this is
that's
not
kind of a trip
confirmed,
just
but
for me to compete. I don't think they'll invite me to
yeah,
commentate, but I'd
for
be down if
yeah,
they
yeah.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from LA is probably a bit of a stretch, but I think like Spain is a bit of a really good flying hub. From what I know, like they always have a lot of flights going into South America and stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
Spain seems to be some sort of like central flying destination. So
Yeah.
I imagine it's probably actually not too expensive for someone on the East Coast to fly to Spain.
Oh, probably not. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so Yeah, Americans, we'd love to see you there. Hopefully we get a huge turnout because again, it's Barcelona, amazing
Mhm.
city.
Yeah.
First event, special event, so it's free.
Yeah, and
It'll
Spain's
be nice
also
and
like
funny.
it's always been a place I wanted to go because from the vibes I
Mm,
get from it, it's like real chill. People aren't stressed
yeah,
out as
man.
much. They like wake up late. They
Yeah.
like eat a late lunch. I'm like, dude, that's what I'm
Nap in
doing
the middle of
already
the
in the
day.
US, right? Yeah, like
Do you
that's
know what I
my kind
mean,
of
bro?
thing, right? Staying up late,
Yeah.
like chilling,
Hey, come
right?
over,
Like,
bro. Come over.
yeah,
Yeah, man.
dude. Maybe I
So
should.
yeah, Barcelona should be exciting to be honest. But yeah, I'm gonna compete, but mainly going there for like because I'm sort of in the area. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try and focus on like the Australian regionals, I guess, when I get back
Okay.
to Australia
Okay.
afterwards. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, hey, I would
love
love to
to
see you
try.
try commentating too, right? I'm curious, right? Well, I
Yeah,
think
do you
it'd
know
be
what though?
interesting because here's the thing,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah,
got like, well, one, you already watch a lot of stuff, right? And you already know
yeah.
the data, you know the storylines, right? You know
Data.
the player history.
True,
That's really
true.
important, right?
Yeah,
Because you know,
for
like,
sure.
yo, the last time like Wadash did this at this region or whatever, right? Like, like, I mean, Polly too and stuff like that. I don't think Polly no hand Polly. I don't think she'd be
Yeah,
a
last
great
time Polly was
commentator.
at a
Yeah,
regional. Oh,
yeah.
okay. I thought you
Oh,
meant
oh, 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 yeah. Oh, we're not only gonna knock him on the potential commentary skill, but also his PvP skills. No shit. Two birds with one stone,
Oh
man.
man,
Yeah,
yeah, not
he's a little
intentional,
rusty. Not
but
gonna lie. He is. Yeah, he could.
hey, I
He's
can't
good in
chat. I can't
factions,
chat.
but he could definitely use some work.
Yeah.
And I've never seen a guy stay in a Metacham into a Sableye matchup so long before. I'm like, dude, he stays on Metacham, Sableye into your Metacham. Why are you staying in for 30 seconds? Like, like, what are you contemplating on the ice punch? Like,
Hey,
uh,
sometimes you think about life a bit in those moments. You're
yeah,
like,
you think about too
you're
much
like,
of
my
life. Yeah,
Metacham's into a saber. Like, how did I get here?
yeah.
You get that little like, you might be wondering how I got into this
Shit,
situation.
I'm wondering how you got there too. Yeah, everyone's wondering. But
Oh
yeah,
man.
no, that'd be cool. That'd
Yeah,
be
so
cool.
yeah, Dracoviz is mainly we're actually going to do this weekend we're going to have a couple Twitter spaces which are focusing on the qualifiers from LATAM and then a separate episode focusing on the qualifiers from APAC. So we
Nice.
did EU and we did NA. Butters helped with that one as well. That
Yeah.
was also 2.5 hours. It's long,
Yeah. It was good. I listened to a portion of it. I started listening to it before I went to
yeah.
work out. I worked out and I came back and it was still going. I was listening to it while I was working out, right? I
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
had to, I
okay,
had to
that's good,
like
that's
try
good.
not to listen too much. I was like kind of laughing while I was like working out. I was like, dude, I'm about to kill myself on this bench press. But yeah, but it was
Yeah,
cool.
so we're doing LATAM and APAC, and I think those are going to be the most interesting one because again, like EU and NA already get a lot of coverage in terms of the players. Like
Uh-huh.
people know a lot about them, but when it comes to LATAM and APAC specifically, like there's a lot less. So we're hoping to like illuminate people. We're going to have some guests on from the regions to like talk about their players and just tell us stuff that I didn't even know.
Hmm.
So we're gonna have that before Worlds, and then also post Worlds, we're gonna do a live Twitter Spaces. EJB is gonna help, and
Yo,
we're just
nice.
gonna have a load of like competitors and just people in the area, and just being like,
Dude,
"Yo,
that's
let's
great.
chat
EJB's the
to the
man,
audience at
dude.
home." So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
bro, yeah,
best of
he's
luck
a
to
sick
him
guy,
in at Worlds.
Yeah,
He's definitely a really great battle. He's a
yeah,
chill
yeah,
dude too. So yeah,
yeah, yeah, for sure, yeah.
yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah,
Well,
that should
I'm
be
looking forward to it.
exciting.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to you competing. Hopefully, it'll be a streamed event. It seems like most of
Hey,
EU tournaments are. So
yeah, yeah,
we
yeah, yeah,
get to see
for
you
sure.
battle
I
on stage.
think for sure.
I'm sure
Yeah.
Polly's like, he might be listening to be like, oh, okay, Adacor, let's see you perform on stage. Let's see how
Hey, I've
Wait,
been
have you
on
have you
stage enough
played?
times already.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
which
yeah.
ones were you? Which ones did you battle
Okay,
at?
so so here's the thing, yeah.
Wait, yeah, let
My
me.
best
I need to look
event.
at your results on Dracoviz. What, like, how do I? We need a
It's
player
not
search
that good.
function ASAP.
All right,
Actually,
here's the thing, yeah.
I already got another website I can look at. Yeah.
My best event, which was
Uh-huh.
pre-travel, was actually LCQ, and that was the time, yeah, bro.
Oh.
I had the best outfit, yeah. Let me just say, and anyone who is there, feel free to agree with me, yeah.
Yeah.
I had the best outfit, yeah. I was
Okay.
so ready to go on stage, yeah. They
Yeah.
didn't put me on stage. They even
Ah.
had a go at someone for not putting one of my matches on stage because they were like,
What
"Wait, why are you
outfit did you
putting like
have?
a losers bracket, bro?" I had this like angel jean jacket, yeah, with like little
Yeah.
angels on it. I had like a load of jewelry. Um, yeah, it was looking
Wait.
pretty good. Let me just say
Oh yeah. It doesn't show your placement on. I'm looking at
in what
Greenbee's website. It said you got
for what.
fourth in Sydney though. for your
Yeah,
tournament stuff,
I
right?
wasn't too happy about that, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie.
It's all good.
I was definitely better form than fourth, but
Yeah.
on the day I just couldn't perform
I mean, fourth is pretty
as I
good
knew
still.
I could
Yeah.
have. You know.
Wait, so you were at
Yeah, but you
OCIC. You were at.
yeah. So OCIC, I literally just like a few days prior
You just moved there, right?
came off of like yeah, just came into the country.
Did we
Um,
meet?
Probably briefly. Yeah,
Okay. I feel bad
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm
But
like talking to you now, but I
no,
was
no,
like,
it's fine, bro. Yeah,
did we
yeah.
chat like at the
Nah,
pub or
probably
something or
briefly, to be
like
honest.
yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's wild.
So yeah, OCIC was
Sydney,
that.
Bilbao, Lille, Warsaw, and then
Yeah,
LCQ. Did you only do LCQ
yeah.
last year? Or did you do something else too?
I went to Liverpool actually. I went to the
Oh,
first
okay, the
one.
first one, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I went to Liverpool. That's also, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. Like going to Liverpool, I think I said this before, but like going to Liverpool was what got me kind of re-excited in Pokemon again. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
because at that point there was so many like
There were a
you
lot
had
of
the whole
bugs. Yeah,
yeah, man, bro. I was like
denials, yeah, everything.
yeah, no, it was, you know what it was? There was a charge move delay. Bro, that bug killed me,
Oh,
yeah.
wait,
Because
what?
I
What was
was
the
like, you
charge
know
move
what?
delay again? I don't even remember that.
You know when you throw your charge move, yeah, and you're
Yeah.
waiting there for 2 seconds, but meanwhile your opponent's still moving, but you don't know how long they've been moving for. So now all your
Oh,
counts are off, bro. It was
dude,
so because I was like, you know
I
what,
barely
sleeps and
remember
stuff,
that
yeah.
part.
At least,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
mate, it was the
that was
worst
wild.
because I quit out of every single Silph tournament as like
Oh
on one
man,
week, and I was just like, you know what, I'm done in it. Yeah, I was like,
yeah.
I can't do this anymore. Um, but yeah, so I was at Liverpool, and then I went traveling, and I missed all the European regionals.
Uh-huh.
And then I came back for Worlds,
Yeah.
and then actually I started traveling again.
Uh-huh.
So I've really not planned the traveling
Well, you caught a
great in terms of, you know,
decent amount of tournaments
I
this time
caught a
around.
decent
Yeah.
amount, but the thing
Yeah.
is, like for me at least, I want to be like prepared. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And like the nice thing about LCQ was it was in London, so I was completely rested. You know,
Hmm.
you know, I didn't. I was at home and I
Yeah.
just went to the place. Do you know what I mean? And so I was
Yeah.
like in a good place there.
The LCQ was
Yeah,
a long day too. They had Wi-Fi
yeah,
issues and
bro.
stuff. It was tough. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that was quite a bit.
that was a long one. Wait, what was your outfit
Yeah.
again?
I had uh this denim jacket which like had kind of like angels on it, but it was
Uh-huh.
like within the denim. I had like probably quite a few chains, silver chains on white t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then I may have been wearing like some white satin tracksuit bottoms. And I
What?
think shoes wise, it was there's this Air Max 97, I believe, yeah, which I think it was an Air Max 97, which like came out years ago. It was like undefeated, and it was like black with, and the little bit around it is in like green and red. And I got like the more exclusive one, which was like the US only or like the store only released one, which was like white. So it was all white with like green and red. So it was like
Yeah.
Gucci colors. Yeah, it
What?
was lit, man.
Dude, that's wild.
Yeah, underappreciated.
I wonder if I'm trying to think if I remember seeing you at the
Do you know
event or
what? Do you
not
know what?
too.
It wasn't on LCQ, but it was the next day. Yeah, we bumped into each other very briefly,
Uh-huh.
and it was after like all the socials and stuff. Yeah,
Right.
because I was like, bruv, your earring is fire, and I think I was wearing low jewelry as well, and you were just like,
I do remember
do
that
you
actually.
remember?
I do remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
harder
so
because like you have like an English accent, but like almost everyone did. So it's like I can't go off of like, oh, like,
yeah,
you know,
true.
someone with English
Yeah,
I do remember
that's
that. Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was like
Was
that
that
was a
at when we're
brief time.
like bar hopping to like every different bar? Oh, I do remember that. Yeah. I remember Valiant
Yeah.
Vision, Ric Flair on there too, very distinctly too.
Mm,
I'm like,
yeah.
dang, it was like a lot of Australians in the top cut. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty impressive, yeah.
Yeah. I do remember
Yeah.
that.
Well, you know
Wow.
what? Looking forward to this Worlds, man. I'm like
Yeah.
currently trying to like get us a venue for like the social.
Yeah.
So I've been like working this week trying to find somewhere that's ideal in it.
Nice, nice, nice.
Hopefully find something good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully we'll do it. Yeah, that'll be cool. Hey,
Yeah.
maybe you'll be competing at the next one too. But
Maybe that's
you
always the
know,
goal, you know. That's always the
yeah,
goal. To everyone who, you know, talking about algorithm and stuff like that, yeah, bruv, I'm not great. Like my form is not great at the moment, yeah, but I believe that I can do better and learn. And you should all take this on, yeah. You should all
Yeah.
believe in yourself and believe that you can learn and do better,
Yeah.
yeah. Because
Yeah. The believe you can learn is the most important part. There's a lot of people that
yeah,
believe too
yeah,
much in themselves, and they
yeah, and they don't
and
even
when
learn any.
yeah, and when they're losing, they're believing in other things like algorithm instead of believing that
Yeah, true, true.
they need to improve, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
gotta
You
believe.
need
You
to
gotta yeah, yeah.
always
It's
believe that you
something
can learn
else.
and do
Yeah.
more in it. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
But
awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you again for taking the time to do this. Maybe we'll do it again sometime. We're
Yeah,
like
bro, I'm
I feel like
here.
I'm like time traveling because like we already recorded another episode, but like us and
Yeah,
from that episode didn't even know this was gonna happen. So, but
bro, they can make a
yeah,
whole movie on that,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready, Hollywood. I'm ready. But
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, we're approaching Yokohama, Japan, so hoping to see some of you there. And yeah,
Mhm.
look for the guy in the silk tracksuit pants, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know
Yeah.
what? I'll say one thing. Bro, okay. Cut out any of this that you feel is necessary. But
Oh, I'm
hey,
leaving it all
vintage
in.
shopping in Japan, yeah,
Yeah.
vintage shopping in Japan is the bang. Yeah. Okay. I don't know
Dude,
what
their
people's
fashion
vintage
is
shopping
top notch.
experience. Bro, but you know what the thing is, yeah? Okay, so I don't know, what's the vintage shopping experience in the US? Like, do
Dude.
you find a variety? You never been?
Dude, what do you mean?
Or
Like
is it crap?
shopping
Or is it
just in
bad?
general?
No, no, vintage shopping
Oh,
specifically. So like
vintage
thrift.
shopping.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
People just go to like they probably thrift at like Goodwills and stuff, like thrift
Okay. And
stores,
is
right?
it like kind of expensive? Do you find anything good?
I
Is
don't
it
think
like a
it's
bit of
actually
hit
super
miss?
expensive. Just
Okay.
it's like it's not super common. Like I think not
Right,
a lot of
right.
Americans do it, right? Some do, and some is
Okay.
like a very big part of their style.
Yeah.
But it's like I think it may be picking up a little bit like some content creators like TikTokers they're doing thrift
Right.
trends and stuff and like
Okay.
something. I mean, I don't know. It's just like American fashion is weird. Like sometimes you got like Kanye coming out with fashion that looks like it's thrifted and it's just like a
Yeah,
$500 t-shirt, right? Like
yeah.
like that's ripped up.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. Yeah, you
Yeah.
never know what's
So
thrifted and what's not. But
yeah.
yeah.
Well, okay, bruv, the scene in Japan is wild, yeah. Because basically a year ago, I was like, oh, you know what? I don't want to like, keep on buying new clothes because,
Mhm.
sometimes they're expensive, the taste kind
Yeah.
of expensive. So I was like, let me try doing the whole, thrift store thing, yeah. But I have not got the patience. And like, whenever you find something good, it's usually, it like costs so much where you're like, well, I could just buy something new that I actually want. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Bro, Japan is a completely different world. There's like imagine an entire town, yeah. Maybe town's the wrong word, but like imagine an entire town, yeah. There's a whole section, yeah, where it's just thrift stores, yeah. Bro, like I said, yeah, I was like, I don't have enough patience, yeah.
Mhm.
In Japan, my problem was I didn't have enough patience to not buy the first thing I see because everything's good. Bro, and literally the first store I went into, I bought three things and I was like, what the hell?
Oh
Yeah, it
man.
was cheap, it was good. I went into the changing room, yeah, with like a few options, yeah, and I was like, you know what? I probably won't even wear some of these, yeah. And I in front of me, yeah, I was looking at a pair of leather trousers, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've never worn leather trousers in my life, yeah. I was like, am I ever gonna wear these? Let's be honest, yeah. I looked at the price tag, bro. It was like £10. I was like,
Oh my
I don't even
gosh.
care if I don't ever wear them. Yeah,
Dude, you
like
gotta
I'm
wear
I'm
it.
getting this,
We're at the next
bro.
LCQ.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, dream shattered,
Yeah.
But yeah, literally, vintage shopping in Japan. Honestly, if you guys don't know what to take back from Japan, you got so much suitcase space. Yeah, you got your One Plus or whatever that
Uh-huh.
you wanted from. Just go vintage shopping. Yeah, you cannot lose. And also, like I said, all the stuff is good. Everything
Yeah.
there, yeah, you're like you could make an entire outfit from one store. You would be the most fashionable person in whichever country you go back to. Yeah,
Dude,
honestly, I
I need
can't
to
speak highly enough, man.
yeah, I need to carve out some shopping time in Japan, clearly.
Hey, bruv, let's go,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
on it. Yeah, I am
Yeah,
on
yeah,
it.
take me to the
Yeah,
spots. Dude, so
yeah,
yeah,
bro.
I remember seeing this TikTok thing, man. We're going on so many tangents, but this will be the last thing I say. There was like this one TikTok video or Instagram reel. It was like me when I first moved to Japan a year ago, right? It was just like his
All right.
fashion, everything, like his hair was like kind of weird. And then like he's like 1 year later living in Japan. It didn't look like the same person. Like hair was styled differently, like the whole fashion, it was
Mad,
like the whole fit was crazy different, right? Even the
bro.
mask he was wearing was different, right? Even the mask looked good, right? Like it was just a mask, right? Yeah, and I was like,
Man,
dude.
Bro,
That's
that's the kind of
something else.
glow up we all need in our countries. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
In our lives. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
quick little trip to Japan. You
Yeah,
know?
we need Butters to buy some suits from Japan, dude. That red one's not doing it.
Hey, yeah,
Dude, that
yeah.
red one,
Wait,
he
is that his
looks like
only
a
suit?
valet. He looks like a valet outside of a fancy hotel, right? There's no way he
Oh
does it.
man,
I need to tell him that. Maybe that'll make
yeah,
him change. But
yeah. Yeah. What the valet's doing things for
dude,
you?
yeah, the
Yeah,
valet red suit, yeah.
yeah. No, don't even tell him it. Yeah, just like next time you see him, just hand your keys out to him. No, you're not even looking at. You're not even looking at
Yeah, I won't even bring my
oh,
car.
my
I'll just
bad.
bring the keys with me. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's yeah. Bring it back
Oh,
around.
yeah.
It's too funny. Yeah.
Uh,
Anyway, we're gonna wrap up here, but it was a great time, and
yeah.
if you
Definitely.
watch X Men sometime, you'll probably catch the reference eventually. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
that's okay.
I'll try
My
to.
Hero, I think
Yeah,
is better anyway.
yeah,
But
yeah. It's good enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, peace out, y'all, and we'll catch you all next time.
Safe.
Bye.